Yeah, I'm muted. Thank you. I don't know why I was muted yesterday. I was on now. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Baba. Do I sound okay as well? Because I was screwing with my microphone settings. Yeah, sorry, I should have noticed that earlier. All good. That's why I wanted to start a little bit earlier, just in case there was anything up. Yeah, I'm curious if you could put a link in a embed it into a picture on Twitter. What's the whole thing that the cool kids are doing nowadays, where it's like they, like, is it alt text? Yeah. Because I turned myself up a little bit, but a compression should be like, let's sort of string along. Did you watch Fnatic versus Team Heretics yesterday? I caught the end of it because we went out. We went to watch Godzilla and Kong, like the new one. Yeah, I caught the second map. I didn't watch the first. Tech don't have RB. They should do. Was the movie good? I didn't see Godzilla versus Kong. Just because, like, I think it was around COVID when it came out, right? So I just never got to watching it. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. It's just silly fun. Are you watching the Wolves games? Of course, yeah. We're watching all of the games today. Like, we're watching all of the China games, like, full stop. Like, if China's ever on with Pacific, like it is tomorrow, and Sunday and most weekends for the foreseeable future, we will be watching China over Pacific. The only caveat is, like, tomorrow I'm casting Polaris, and there'll be a couple of days over the next month or so where I'll be casting the same day that China's playing. So maybe I have to leave and stop the stream early, but in that case, I'll try and find somebody else watching it, or I'll just host a main stream. So there might be some maps that we end up, like, missing the end of, but I guess we'll see from today roughly what time it finishes and if we need to be worried. But the games are typically pretty quick for China. And I also think that the breaks in between games are also super fast. It's like the most impressive production that we've had thus far, I think. The football club also plays later today on a Friday. I guess it'd be on the evening. How was the movie? I enjoyed it. I didn't really expect too much, and it's just, like, you know, fun. But hey, no void. Which channel are you on? I wish there was a way, like, for, like, restream. Because I'm streaming on, like, the Hitscan channel and also, like, the smaller YouTube channel that I want to try and grow. Hey, Cray. Good luck today. I'll be watching. I got offered, because the games have been broadcasted and streamed anyway, Cray. I got offered by the Observer, like, hey, do you want to watch party the game? And it's like, let me check with Cray first, because obviously I don't want to show you guys off if there's no broadcast. But if you guys are getting streamed anyway, then I guess it makes more sense to do it then, right? So it's your call, it's your choice. Like, if you're on, like, the main dive channel or whatever, and people like Mimi or Roxy might be streaming the games, then I might as well. But if it's looking like nobody's gonna stream you guys, I won't. And obviously, if I do end up streaming you, I'll unless those VODs. Because I think with the bracket, I think you guys have got a really good chance of making top 2. But in all honesty, like, despite Gamax bottling it against Carmen, I think that both of you guys could do really well. I'm cheering for both teams to make top 2. Yeah, I have chat open here as well. Our clean feeds were shared with the group stage. Oh, right, because they have it in a document. I see. Yeah, what time do you start? Is it 5 or 7:30? Because yeah, I'd love to watch. Who are Wolves playing later? Probably the question. You start at 6. Okay, so 5 my time. Gotcha. Only half the group stage matches had observers. Right, so some of the games had their broadcast shared, and the other ones, because they weren't broadcasted, didn't. Yeah. That's a literal suffering from success moment, I guess. Oh, the Wolves team play tomorrow. They play West Ham. Are you talking about, like, Wolves? Maybe it depends on what you class as, like, later today. Because, like, if you're in somewhere like, I don't know, Korea, Japan, that you're going into, like, if you're, like, you say, it's just turned midnight and it's later on, like, in 16 hours or something. Same day for you, not for us. Some of that, I guess I try to be more conscious of, I suppose. Because there's so many, like, different people from different time zones. $2 p.m. GMT kickoff, yeah. Isn't it today, Friday? You might have, like, one. If it's 2 p.m. GMT, it's BST now, by the way, NDB. We changed time zone, so it's free. Yeah. I mean, at this moment, it's probably going to be weekend games. But yeah, I'm also trying to stream on Shorts as well, because I got really curious about that. Why is this song, like, faster? You don't have sound for this, actually. Interesting. Sorry, that might be suddenly very loud.
我是九成凯。那么在赛事正式开始之前，也是欢迎大家通过赛事官网 VCT.QQ.com 微靴启动器
But that should get quieter.
虎牙
It's
直播、
not doing that
斗鱼直
actually.
播、哔哩哔哩直播、抖音游戏、腾讯视频、腾讯体育、新浪微博、微信视频号百事通观看赛事直播。关注微博微
At
靴
least it
竞技
should be.
官
I'm
方
not
账
too
号，
sure.
获取更多赛事信息。带上微靴私人联赛第一
Test,
赛
test,
的
test,
话
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It kind of is.
精彩赛事。
But I'm also not very
买
loud.
暗云精灵上京东自营，卓威电竞显示器，职业选手的选择。
Oh, because I'm quite loud
全球电竞
in...
品类开创者。
Oh, so this should be a lot better actually.
迪瑞克斯。
Test, test, test,
酷睿
1,
14
2.
代 HX 战力再加1。玩
Yeah,
微
this is
靴
quite
就
loud.
做
That's
迪瑞
weird.
克斯，电竞一品类开创者迪瑞克斯邀您一起见证微靴 CN No.1。超强战力已部署，无畏激战，你们需要我。英特尔酷睿14代 HX 战力再加1。全新观赛福利活动现已上线。
Am I fucking with the wrong one? Yeah, I'm fucking with the wrong one.
VCT 卡面及精美赛事
Test,
周边，
test, test, 1,
快来
2.
发挥你对每场比赛的独特见解吧。
掌上微靴 APP，
Yeah, I realized what I did as soon as I
实
did
时
it.
赛程更新，全面赛况数据分析，邀上3、5好友畅聊打瓦看赛事，下载
That should be a lot better now.
还有海量 Q 币、现场门票等丰厚奖励等你来拿。木之笔界蝶舞换生，微靴新版本现已上线，全新突击烟味控场英雄木蝶上线，巡蝶活动开启，免费英雄、挂饰、卡面等惊喜福利等你来拿。 除了观看官方直播间外，大家也可以在线上观赛派对和2路主播们一起观赛，为你支持的队伍助威。
没错，那也是我们看到前面提到，我前面有一个口播我还蛮在意的，就是关于作业这一块啊，就是我们的观赛福利活动，大家可以在这个相关的活动里面去找一下。
for the foreseeable
昨天
future.
有人开玩笑说，哎，这个艾伦你的作业是什么样子，能不能给我看一看？
Is what they've said.
如果
Right, let me
比
just.
较高，你是有机会去兑换一些。
You get to look at the behind the scenes stuff.
最令人瞩目的还是那个 VCT 的这个战队皮肤嘛，就很多人很关注，包括3.64。
1 2 1 2 test test. Hello test 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 1 2. Hello test 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 1 2. Shouting.
是，那我们也是先看一下今天
Literally shouting.
今天是我们CN联赛第一赛段的揭幕日。那么首先在
Can maybe up that a little bit. That seems a bit better.
那么这一场比赛将会作为我们整个CN联赛的第一赛段，以及乃至于
Test 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 1 2.
而第二场比赛顺延
That should be okay.
由狼队对阵到 TEC。那这2场比赛将会给今天给大家希望能够带来精彩的观赛体验。
其实今天的4支队伍对于大家来说都是有。
Yeah, sorry. Like I noticed when I did like the quick 1 minute guide videos on each of the team for stage 1 that like my mic was very compressed, but also because of the gate, it was cutting out massively. So it was just me going like when I get like a little bit quieter, for example.
人员上的改动吧，就是选手跟教练上的一个改动。那到底这2支队伍
Are you using a Yeti? No, this is a Shure SM7B, you know, the microphone. And it's a Go XLR I'm still using, although I might need to upgrade soon because I think it's on its last legs. What are my thoughts on Clove? I'm not as down and out on her as maybe other people would be. I think they pale in comparison to what like an Omen can do on most maps, or even what like a Brimstone could do on Bind. But I think it's like a good option. Like that's realistically all it needs to be. In the same way that like teams might play Astra in some instances because they prefer what her utility does in comparison. Right? Like, especially on, like it used to be on Lotus, you'd see a lot of like Omen versus Astra, and it really just comes down to personal preference. So people might go, oh, we'll play the Astra because that's what Fnatic does, but I don't think that really like is a good way of any team actually thinking. I think it's easy to be like, oh yeah, in an ideal world, we'll look at the non-mirrored win rate of these agents and see how they do, like go full like Anders into an approach. But for most teams that are coaching, literally just going to the control plane and be like, yo, what do you prefer to play? And if they're like, I'm getting a lot of success with like Clove and their utility, then it's worth a shot. Same way that some teams play Omen on Bind, right? Like, I don't think it's optimal, but if you're like, I can get a lot out of Omen's utility, and personally, I prefer to play that agent instead, then that's 100% worth doing, especially if the team's on board. Did we get full kit wanker for the Wolves game? I didn't buy anything at that point. If they start to do well, if they like do really well this week, I'll think about getting a kit for next week. But they have to beat both Tech and FPX this week, which is kind of tricky. Their utility? Did I say her utility, or was I talking about Omen / Brim?
我对他还是有点了解的，因为他是一个很冲的选手吧。但是我今天会把他摁在地上，但是冲不起来。
我摁在地上打是吧？看来确实可以，肯定是。
TMV Vought jersey. Oh man. I thought we were going to go to the Molyneux as well. Are we doing the TMV Curve watch party for Wolves? Sure.
准备的很充足吧，那只能就。
I think for this first one, maybe even the second game, I'm joining in with Slaggy, but it's a good point actually. I need to root Discord. Not through system, which is fine. Trying to think of what would be the. Probably like this. Something like that, and then I have chat. I'm not really sure how I do it, but I guess we'll see.
征战过吧。想来线下怀念一下。
明白。那今天既然来到了线下去看当观众啊，今天是那想不想也模拟一下
What is this property system? Okay.
早就有这个打算来进军我们无畏契约的主持人是吧？
I don't know. I don't want to like pull Sliggy into a crazy team chat, right? Input device, make it my chat mic. Output device, chat. There we go. He's going to a game. He didn't even invite me. What a little rat bastard. It's I haven't really been watching China long, but it is kind of weird to see flexing in a TYLOO jersey. It's a really odd move. Like, I think Trace getting rid of flexing, I think is perfectly valid. If I was to go off like previous stages for Trace, but I think the flexing had a pretty good tournament. Like, kickoff was good for him, other than that last series. And obviously we lose a lot of the context as to what Lao King brings to Trace that flexing wouldn't. Like, statistically, I think it's like impossible to say. Would share if it was streamed? Yeah, I have been loosely watching the tier 2 stuff on Bilibili, but it's more like, are they going to be streamed on YouTube/Twitch at any point? Because I think that's kind of where it becomes much partyable. I think even watching a VOD on Bilibili, I'm not sure is even allowed from either side. But even like watching the VOD or watching it live, I don't know if that's even a thing that you are allowed to do on Twitch, YouTube, or even like from Bilibili side. Because the last thing I want to do is get in trouble with the China side of the esports, right? Because I'm broadcasting stuff I shouldn't be. Especially with all of the stuff with like Gen G and that. I'm a little bit more conscious, I suppose, of like not finding myself in trouble. Because me saying the wrong thing could just end up in a heap of shit. The most serious yet silliest of regions? Yeah. Also says you're a first-time chatter, actually, which I'm pretty sure is wrong. Says that you're a first-time chatter on my like POV, but I'm 99% sure you've been here before. Check YouTube for some co-stream. People are co-streaming the Bilibili gate, like people are co-streaming the China national competitions on YouTube. Then yeah, I'll probably just have to grab and start doing that. Who do you think are top 3 teams in China right now? It's a good question. I mean, EDG, I think FPX deserve it still. I don't think it's fair to like take them out of it. Probably Trace. Maybe ask Alan. I mean, I've asked Riot, like our community managers, like Riot. I've asked Jim. And the problem is they have to go and ask probably their boss. Their boss has to go over to China to ask them. And yeah, I would love to cut out as many middlemen as I can to just have a contact in China to be like, hey, can I do this? And then being like, yes, no. I think the better thing for me to do, this is more like a long-term thing than anything current, but I think the best thing for me to do is to like try to get on one of the orgs just to have that kind of content for China-related stuff. Sliggy sent a friend request. Why did he send a friend request? I just messaged him saying hello. I've talked to him on this app. Is it a different Sliggy? This is where I've got bait out by like a fake account. Yeah, I've literally spoken to him before when he was on Team Liquid. Like what JDG did with their league content, having Org sponsored co-stream. Yeah, but like, I mean, is it sponsored? Because they were literally like, oh, well, we're gonna give you merch. It's like, I guess that's good if you're like a sort of. I mean, it's good for me. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, hey, yeah, I'm a big shot streamer. Sign me to crazy record amounts. But I'm not gonna do it for like merch, you know. Doesn't have to be a lot, but it's more if I joined an org content creation wise to try and do stuff, it means that I can't join an org for like game changes or just from the sound alone, I know what round that is from Guan. Yeah, I've added him. I need to just call him. Hello?
Hello.
Sliggy, are you okay?
Why? What's going on?
I don't know, you just sound stressed.
Ah, bro, I just learned how to add someone on Discord. I'm fine. It's just a learning curve.
Isn't it always? You're doing push to talk, aren't you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, let me set that up then.
I think that's the easiest way to do it. Otherwise you'll hear me thanking subs.
I don't mind that.
Or talking about random circles that I'm drawing.
Thank you, Acid Deer. Thank you very much for joining the ring. I don't know why I haven't changed that. Maybe I should keep it, but thank you very much for the prime. And yeah, Sliggy I think is like 34. Like I checked it very recently. And you said about Wolves. I've spoken to Wolves a little bit, but I wouldn't say it. I'd say like conversations broke down. We want to use football specifics. But I think it's more like it is early days on like both sides, right? Because I think it's tricky when it's like you're talking to organizations and they're like, oh yeah, like what's your like viewership like? And it's like, well, I kind of just started streaming, like, but with focusing on China, like it's not big at the moment, but it could be in the future, right? It's like impossible to put a number on it. You think Trace will do worse with the player trades with TYLOO? They have the worst trade ever for Low King? I don't agree with that. I wonder if there's going to be a lot of... Oh, it looks like the same assets. I thought, well, like, when ISO came out, there was a lot of stuff focused around him. And, like, I guess obviously because he's Chinese, but I was thinking maybe, like, because of Clove, maybe they're in, like, the startup animation thing.
Ryan, I'm hearing JDG got a new IGL.
They did, yeah. I mean, you've seen him play. It's attacking Soul, I'm pretty sure.
Dude, that's a stacked team now.
Yeah, with any luck. Like, even if they don't do well, I'm pretty sure that you could just put in Jake Hero on, I don't know, like Martin's role or Yihao. Because I don't think you get rid of Stu or Viva or anything like that, right?
Nah, you wouldn't.
Hey, Thimasil. Hey, Limey. In the Billy stream when EDG propped up, the chat was spamming 526. Jesus. BLG is banned against unknown teams.
Man, Shanghai's gonna be so good, dude. It's like you can just tell the production for all the Chinese stuff is sick. I have high expectations for like the stage and stuff, man.
It's
They just
funny,
go all
yeah,
out.
because I think the only like proper tech timeout we had, there was literally a fire. One of the fog machines caught fire, and it was literally like a 5-minute break, if that.
What the hell? That's wild. Not like EMEA. We get that every game.
Yeah, you get that every game. At least like Pacific has been better, but I mean they started in the worst possible way. They ain't getting away from that.
Yeah, that was a rough day. That was my longest stream day ever.
So yeah, TYLOO brought in Aaron from NIP, who was like played a lot of Deadlock in Ascension. I'm pretty sure you cast more Ascension than I did.
Yeah, I watched him a good fair amount.
Shuai was the head coach of the Game Changers team for EDG. Like, he's the new head coach of TYLOO. And they brought in Sunshine, who was the head coach of Weibo. So they got 2 new, like, head coaches.
Okay.
And they got Flex in from Trace.
Okay. Dude, everyone changed. Billy changed coach as well, right?
Yeah, they got in Bale. But it's weird because he had Jackson as their, like, head coach for, Jackson was their head coach for, like, Champions and stuff when they beat NRG. And then, like, in Stage 2 of EVO, they brought in XPZ as the head coach, and Jackson went to assistant coach. And now they've just got rid of XPZ. Like, I think one of the reasons why Billy been so bad is because of him as a head coach, to be honest. Like, feels like it just went backwards.
Yeah, it can be like that. It's hard to pinpoint it sometimes from the outside.
Yeah,
What
Aaron was the
hell's
guy that played
actually, it's all going wrong.
Does BL speak Chinese? I don't think so, but I don't think that's as important. Yeah, Flexin and Low King went on this like weird transfer thing. Which I think is a cool move. It's not that it's bad. But I think you don't typically have it where one of the top teams in the region swaps out a player with one of like the worst team objectively in the region, I
各位
guess.
来到无畏竞技场和线上的观众朋友们，大家好，我是季川 Allen。
我是任凯。
那伴随着两边的教练
Yeah, the stage and production for China is obscenely good.
这是我们森联赛第1赛段的揭幕战。这2场比赛将会给真正的无畏竟然点响第1枪。
TYLOO prop paid well? I don't think it's that.
我觉得首先就可以从教练席位给大家做简单的剖析。贝尔嘛，
I think it's more like why would you want Flexin?
国外的 Noception 具有很多的执教经历。
What is the China logo trying to represent? It's just a lotus.
上的层面带来更深的广度。
Just a lotus
新
flower.
官上任3把火，其实2位都是新教练来到这个队伍，那就看看谁能够给队伍带来更多不一样的战术上面的内容。而对于TYLOO来说
But yeah, I mean, it's more like I wonder why Trace got Low King in particular. There's just so much about the players that we just don't know about, really, because of the language barrier, and also just because there's no information on the players, even on like China's side. It's not a lot of information, and I think purposefully some orgs from China do tend to keep quiet about stuff.
在起点赛2个 BO3 0比4的一个地图数据是不能接受的，这也是他们在
Did BLG make any changes since their matches against NRG last year? Yes, they have a new IGL.
双方队伍的 PP 情况，对于
They got rid of Rin, they brought in Bear as an IGL, and they have a new head coach. Their old head coach is assistant coach, who's still there.
打的是不是很好？
是在这个比赛赛前的制点当中 ，BLG 是制赢，所以说他们选择了后班候选。那两边要开始第1轮的选图了，我们来看第1张地图，天路选
BLG banning out
哪
Sen.
一张？他们是给到了员工重任，这是在天路的履历当中可能为数不多的是近期相对来说比较好的一张地图了。
对，而且这张地图标记晋级。
I mean, it's so hard to say and gauge what like the beta's going to be like, because it's been a while since we've seen either team. BLG picking Icebox. I think they only played it against Wolves twice. So Bind, Icebox, No Breeze.
是，但后2班的话，
Sunset is the third map. Oh no, sorry, Sunset was banned out first. Lotus is the third map.
最后的一班也是给到了你。
Why did they get rid of Ren? I mean, he was playing really poorly. So I have my notes from before. 4. So Bind, they lost to... Oh, this is Wolves' second series. They lost to Trace. Oh, yeah, of course. How can I forget the last time that fucking Billy played this map? With that, like, last second defuse. They're going Yoru Gecko. What did they go beforehand? Not that. There's no bind at all from... why is that text? Should be TYLOO. Why is this also not working? Oh, I know why. I can fix that later.
而对于天路来说，他们的E2位置由于小九的轮换替补，现在是给到了 AAK， 而 Iron 其实之前是一名很强力的2-2位置选手，当前也是亮出了自己的绝活回蛇。
我们前面也讲过 ，Allen 其实在自己
Yeah, like Bianc was very keen to not IGL anymore. And so they tried K-Knight on the IGL for a bit, and that didn't work. So they brought in like a dedicated IGL in place of Rin, who, yeah, was... I think if you're a controller player and you're not IGLing, you have to be putting up pretty good stats to stay. Because you can, if you're not IGLing, like, if you're playing Omen, you could be like another duelist, effectively. Like, secondary entry to an extent. I think about, like, people like Karen and Tens play controller, right? But if you have somebody like Boaster on controller, IGLing, it's a very different, like, playstyle. Why specifically controller players? I mean, because you have the utility for it. Like, if you're playing Omen specifically, you have one of the best flashes in the game. I probably should record. Do you want me to record this, like...
I think I'm okay for today, but then everything else is good.
Gotcha.
I think if we're never on a call, I think just record. I mean, honestly, if you want to upload it anyway, I'm so fine with that. It's up to you.
那看一下接下来第一分防守方其实是个4避开哦。
Mako feels kind of in between. Yeah, but like Mako is also similar in the sense of like Marved and stuff. Like, you have more individuality. So yeah, this is the first time that we've ever seen TYLOO play it. So roles as well, because he's a switch around. AAK isn't on the Sentinel this time. HFMI is. Aaron's on the Viper. The only one that's like on a consistent role, I suppose, is Flexing and maybe Ice King. They're just gonna go for the TP. You've still got 2 people waiting though for BLG. The camera's gone up for the Cypher, which I don't think is gonna see anything. The Gecko flash shows that there's one still staying like on the lurk, which is great info. And Yosemite sort of pushes in and fights alone, without Bear being able to help. This is a great lurk from HFMI. And also, I guess, like, HFMI on, like, the duelist act could be a big thing, because mechanically really sound. Was really good as a duelist and an initiator player for attacking Soul, but it didn't look good for TYLOO last stage in kickoff. So I guess this maybe is like, I don't want to rely on your utility anymore, I just want to go fight. Nice effort from Bianc. But I think it was all down to just how, like, Bear and Yosemite took the fight on site.
打了天路一个措手不及，但是在最后的2v2残局以及关键的 elbow 绕后，这波绕后也是帮助进攻方奠定手上分的第1分。
对，这个绕后其实他一开始就在 B 大做布局，然后在队友从传送器进 B 区的时候，他是不急不徐在 B 区一直在绕，然后找到了一个非常舒服的角度。
这一轮拿下对于守方
I need to find a way to check that I'm like pushed to talk when I'm talking to Sliggy. Maybe something like that.
那接下来来看一下 BLG 在枪械劣势下的一个防守分，
还是赌币。
My goat HFMI. Yeah, I'm so sad that he had such a... He was awful at kickoff. Like, one of the worst individual, like, performances of a player in kickoff across the world.
但天路现在不紧不慢的往2楼去做推进啊，霹雳之虎确定。
But it's hard when you join a team like that in such a quick turnaround.
这2分的进攻节奏其实都不是那种第一时间发起进攻，他们往往会在前面的20秒到30秒先等一等。对。
But yeah, I have a YouTube chat open as well. I'll keep an eye on it. But mostly I'm looking at Twitch. If you wanted to move over.
转到 A 点之后，应该是又控制了一颗能量球啊，他离自己的超差已经非常快了。
尽管是输了第一分
They just used a Masters Shanghai stage for this production. Maybe the start of Masters Shanghai will be from this, but typically Riot like to have their bigger parts of the event like in a bigger venue and arena. So maybe like group stages, Swiss, whatever the format's going to be, will be from the China stage, and then like playoffs might be from a bigger venue. Because it is Tencent, right? I can imagine they could get one of the biggest, best venues in Shanghai of all things. So far, so good though for TYLOO. But I feel confident in saying that after 1.5 rounds, they look more coherent than they did last stage. Would they use the one they play in the LPL? Potentially. But like China, like Edward Gaming have their own fucking arena, right? Like a lot of teams have their own venues, so there's so many places that Master Shanghai can be done from. But I think with their resources and Tencent's like, I guess like political pull to an extent, you could probably get like some crazy expensive, important places. Like it's an event I think the China need to go all out on, right? Well, we can find out who Edward is. Good old Edward Zoo. Best produced tournament? Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Teams have their, yeah, it's crazy. It's sort of similar in like Japan, I think in Korea, that some teams have like their own venues. But yeah, there's like an EDG arena.
前40秒钟，天路还是在找人探信息，毕竟前2分BLG打得非常的主动。
上来，小编在一个 B 大的常规位可以循环自己的丢丢，但是也会暴露自己的信息。现在进攻方是知道携带着无敌超杀的小编就在 B 大的。
那 B 区到
So bonus is actually really good. You've got 1 Vandal, 3 Bulldogs, and a Spectre. You've got Thrash early for BLG, which is nice. You got some information that they went up long. Skydogs used early, which for solo initiator is really good utility to get out of TYLOO early from BLG. Nade hasn't broken the trip. And yeah, actually K-Knight does get him. Also Rolls actually look very good for TYLOO at the moment. Because I think they were trying it the other way around for a bit. Yosemite was on the Sentinel and then K-Knight was on the Viper. Go on HFMI. A clutch here, and I'm back on the hype train. He has got time to run. Not quite. Double peek. Mosh. Problem with Mosh is like a molly is just it's not fast enough. I think you're better off just double peek it. Yeah.
I was impressed he got the spike down. Wait, what time are you on? Ryan.
I'm defusing. I'll let you know when the defuse is done. And now. I'm watching it on YouTube as well because it's 7:20 on Twitch.
Yeah, same. I think we're relatively on the same space. Replay's coming now, right?
Yeah, I'm like a second behind you. Do you have any like questions about? Well, I think for Billy it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah, Billy is pretty much the same.
那下一分可能就会成为首方 BLG 在上半场的一分转折分了。就如果他一旦全员补枪掉经济，然后掉分之后，又会陷入到一个极大的劣势当中。
而对于天路来说，虽然这一分是所有人
Does he read YouTube chat? I do.
进攻方的一个
Hello, Medal.
他们的经济并没有那么紧张。看一下这一分的归属，王浩哲这一分因为经济的一个抑制，这一分只能起到数位。
I will be in China during Masters. That's cool. Do you have any idea why all stages from lock-in to now all look the same? Because they're all done at like does it Pacific will be different. Yeah, like all of the EMEA tournaments will be done out of the LEC arena. And yeah, like stage 1, stage 2 will all be done.
Man, I don't know about that play, dude. They go towards showers and they put the wall up. They throw their only bit of info in terms of the dizzy forward to try and get a kill through the wall. And then now they have no info.
Yeah, they can't go pick it up either.
Yes. I'm not sure I like that one.
又蒙上一层误杀。
天路刚才是知道说 ，OK， 第一时间小编的这个盖可在 A， 但除此以外他们没有太多信息。A 小精灵的接触已经看到了，小编想溜没有能够溜得掉。
I mean, I'm a little bit like nervous, I suppose, seeing both teams playing Cypher on this map still. Like, I think it's good, but especially with Sky being nerfed, I think you need 2 initiators now. Just you're so without information, it's scary on defense.
Yeah, I agree. I think the whole fault is the Cypher, like the Cypher gives you that extra info, but every time you use like a camera close, it's so easy to get rid of it, and then you don't have that info.
Yeah, it's pure like ranked kill trip city on this map, I swear.
人数已经有决定性的5打3的优势，而且艾伦想要试，艾伦直接幻影飘头再抓，已经是个半血，小 K 有点危险。我们看到艾伦是得势不饶人，但这波左右的枪线他没有办法同时处理2个人。 他是想去斩草除根，去尽量削弱对面的经济。
打了个140，幻影魅力时刻。
Like I really like Gecko on this map, but solo initiator you're just stressing so much.
存起是肯定不可能的，其他兄弟肯定是要存钱的。那这样的话，天
Yeah, I agree.
Better Gecko util and Iang still? I don't know about that. I think Iang's utility is heavily like underrated. Did you do your pick'ems? Yeah, so there's a video either on the channel that you're watching on or the other one. I know that's confusing, but I think I submitted them. But I had Billy winning this one. I think I had Billy and Tech winning today. You think the Euro and BLG can make up for the lack of an initiator with his flashes? With the flashes, yes. With getting information, no. I mean, especially on defense.
BLG 迎来自己的存钱分，有保下来的2把步枪和3把手枪。
Because I think playing the Euro to try and get, like this, for example, pushing long, you could, don't know why I'm pointing at the screen. I should also have Epic pen up. I think Sky players need to adapt. I do think that, like, Sky as an agent is still one of the best initiators to run on the majority of maps, but just not on its own. But yeah, like, for the Euro, like, going for this play to get information is so risky. Like, these kind of moments I don't think the Euro works that well for. Because you've got your TP set up to, like, leave. Are you fighting this? You've got 3 people with you. And you know that there's some people up there and backed off. So the TP has done nothing for you, really. I think the best thing for the Euro is just, like, the TP if you're playing on B, and then sort of TP in up here. Like, quick rotations. But I think that's so hard to do on a map like this. Because the whole point of attacking is... as an attacking side, I think it's either TMV said this or Rahujin, one of the two, is like, you want to hit the site where there's just less people on it. It sounds dumb, but that's kind of what it comes down to on this map. It's just very binary. Like, manipulate is so much that you're not just running into people like this. So when you try and plant, you don't have 4 people just walking out on site to try and kill you. I mean, I might have stalled it. AAK is... At least he bought some time.
Bro, that was crazy close.
It
looked like none of them trust their teammates to like ping the spike. They had to all double like swing it each time. I mean, it worked well.
BLG 抓机会的能力在这一分又体现出来，但很可惜，最后枪械的差距以及残局出其不意的一个直接的干拉，让
Wait, take up the wolves? I will say no.
对于进攻方，他们其实不是很在意掉了4把枪，而现在对于
what was I gonna say?
是一个非常大的一个
Yeah, I mean, I think Tech looked really, really good at buy-ins and kickoff. And it's one of those ones that, like, if Wolves win, I'm going to be happy. But I think, like, it's... I wish that this series that we're getting later today was, like, later into the stage. Why is one team's color red instead of purple now? I guess they just want to make sure that it's all... Maybe in, like, China, it's purple. But, like, it's usually red. The reason why it was purple before is because, you know, the way that China treat the color red is, like, is a very royal, regal color. So having it used to be, like, an enemy... Like even like blood and stuff is censored in China and changed to like different colors. Used to be yellow. Yeah, it was like yellow purple, but
但注意到现在小编是满技能的情况，贝尔也还有一颗烟。
I mean, this is really good from TYLOO. Especially when it's like a map like this, a map like Bind, like being coordinated enough to make it work.
BLG 可能要叫战术暂停了，但这一分可能经济又不够。但如果放到1比6再去叫暂停，其实
I feel like I'm watching my ranked games here sometimes. Oh yeah, for like it's such a early scene. I mean, you look at how like EDG played at Madrid. Of course, teams in China are gonna play rough like that.
他在那个黑屋的位置，如果没有打过对方的盖壳，那这一分结局将会是完全另一个局面。
对，或
I'm on call with Sliggy.
在团队配合之下的个人能力的爆发，因为那个时候就是一个非常干净的1v1，就看谁第一枪能先打到头。
很自信，反而是标记当前是会出现一些小小的慢热。
这分 BLG 是进入
I'm trying to think as well.
一把步枪都没有，2把冲锋枪，3把手枪。
BLG haven't called the timeout yet, which is a little bit surprising. I mean, like, if you bail, how do you call a timeout at this point? I feel like I'm watching 10-something Jings playing against each other. Yeah, mechanically, these teams are crazy good. Like, when Kung Kung said that in the press conference for Madrid, I was a bit like, are you really mechanically better than all the other regions? And then I see FPX playing up against Casey, and I'm like, actually, he might have a point. They just have all the brains and no all the aim and no brains. Even Wisey doing a little bit of a like Omen DP here is interesting.
很难找到机会，然后再交一个神经取息，然后选择传送走到 A 区，因为字母哥已经完成了 A 区的一个拓展。
A 区近点安保已经如履平地了，但2楼的反应 ，Allen 的击杀也是来得非常亮眼。
Map manipulation is perfect.
在这种情况之下，会尽量少的给到对面一些翻盘的机会。尽管这个搜眼确实出了问题，但队友第一时间还是把这个人给补了。
是。贝尔手上一把正义宝枪。
Do you think Bear deserves a Bear? Abby deserves a tier 1 spot still. Yeah, I mean he is in tier 1 at the moment. Like I think if you can. Like make it in China, like I don't think China should be treated like almost like a tier 2 scene, but I do think for like any player that's in the position, I suppose, of like DRX, where you were good previously, like pretty much the best players and the best team in a particular region, you should be able to do it in tier 2 after you eventually get dropped.
现在对于他们来说，场上的情况比较不乐观。这一分其实已经是王浩哲在用命给小编勾机会勾出来了一个侧身。
是，我觉得可以总结一下，就上半场标记究竟做了哪些事情。首先是在地图资源的一个控制之上，那再一点的话，他们在打回防反清的闪光之上，就夜路的 TP 也是能够。 创造更多的一个枪线。
BLG losing close rounds on ecos too.
和拉扯，就其实他们的思路以及战术是绝对没问题的，但问题出在哪儿？问题在于天路的整体性。
The timeouts now at least.
默认时机不会给你任何的机会，而且在很多。
I'm like low key impressed with how well like TYLOO's playing the attack.
他们的胜算非常的高。
Yeah, it's like it's also like very disciplined at the moment. It's kind of nice. They're like they're super patient in terms of just like it's always a good sign when you see this stuff as well. Just a team that can actually feel confident holding a default.
I feel like it was even something we didn't see at Madrid from like EDG or FPX that much. Like they were so just keen to go. I mean, like this was a good map for EDG, right? It was like their main pick, but I think everything else, like Icebox, especially against Loud, they were just so like, oh, we got to kill him mid, let's just like go push, and they just run into like Sadak and he just shits on them, right?
Especially FPX, man. FPX love that stuff.
更多的转点，但其实他们当前的一个经济和家底，经济的积累和枪械的积累，起码在接下来3个回合是不会缺钱用。
Why is Jackson talking more? I guess because he has to translate for Bale. Would be my guess.
小编的这个盖可去拿点数，这个为什么到后面打不赢了，就打不出来了？你看到
But also like, I think it is going to be a weird dynamic to begin with because Bale has just come in. Jackson was the head coach for a bit.
暂停回来，我们要来看一下 BLG 在场上的暂停是不是有效果？锦囊到底里面写的是啥？
破局之策给到了一把。
I mean, you're not supposed to, as an assistant coach, talk to the team. But I think in circumstances like this, where you're actively translating, I think it's fine. I also think it's fine for assistant coaches to talk to the team anyway. I don't know why that's not a rule.
对，前摇时间还是比较长的。
跟他对位的就是弗勒星，我相信王浩哲应该很清楚，弗勒星在这个位置已经逛了很久了。
对，
每一回合都会。
Because you can't take notes in. You got a minute to talk.
弗勒星的习惯被抓到了，弗勒星在这个位置已经使
Use it however
4个回合。
对
is needed, I
手
guess.
上有一个魁父在啊，这一分加上锤锤之灵往 A 区去打是可行的，
但应该只能来一波强势的进点了，而且要保着艾伦进去把这个魁父展开。但是王浩哲来的非常快。
Oh, well, you can take in notes, but you can't take in like digital notes.
而且 A 角是有2个半线的。
对面想不到，天路完全没有想到这个人来了，轻松的收获第2个局。
Okay, the op's working.
在瞄准浴室，字母哥在浴室打开缺口，一边夹击。
The timing of that is also really nice. Like the pressure here and then just allowing AAK to peek through.
没有找到他的位置。
Has just missed K Knight. Never mind. Got him there in the end. Fake plant.
对面的暗之暴动系 AK 短时间内比较尴尬，他需要队友保他，字母哥能不能架住？但是天际光束
Orbital strike right in that corner. The camera to just check that he's there too.
强行买到了字母哥的命。
Keybind.
1v2 AK 能不能
Oh, they almost line up.
不够。
这出现了2次，好
Oh man.
管理上来说就是有点差强人意了。
或者说 AK 也没有。
Why does Wisey stay in the middle of the side there? That is crazy. I think it's just
还是队友兜住了，但不得不说王浩
Euro thinking at his chamber.
给他安排这个前压明区，效果拔群，必点狙一个，立刻不请自来。
I think he just wasn't expecting an attacker to push through the Viper wall when there's 2 trips there too.
容错和这个第一枪的失误空间就大大降低。
Like out of him playing badly there versus TYLOO playing good, I'd put that more on TYLOO playing good.
振臂高呼啊，确实非常的有鼓舞性。
I also respect the timeout straight after their
第一个
timeout.
暂停，这是非常考验，就他
I think China should allow 2 imports like in tier 2 leagues. Nah, I think that just ends up making it like I don't know what the rules are in league,
两边的第一个锦囊是
but
打开。
也可以给
I
他
don't want to
这个
see Chinese teams just be like 2 Koreans, 2 Koreans, 2
然
Koreans.
后也是 EDGS 的执教教练，而副教练
I like this timeout, dude. They have none of it, dude. They really don't want them to get into it. And maybe it's talking about op, I guess.
非常多的粉丝来到。
Yeah, I really like these kind of like timeouts. Just instantly after theirs, so it's not like Billy can get much out of it.
接下来的比赛呢将会更加重要，因为第一赛段除了将会影响到全年的谁能去往冠军赛的这个最终的一个目标之外，
It'd be fun to see Chinese teams by the end of the year next year when some of the new tier 2 demons start getting into teams. Yeah, I mean, like, I think
所以对
it's nice to see Rare Atoms still dedicated to tier 2.
来看一下天路的暂停回来。
Kind of disappointed there's a lot of other orgs that aren't, but I guess it's early days here.
其实完全没有机会教的。
对针对
And like a weird format. Maybe like if we start to see a proper challengers scene from next year onwards instead of the China national competition, we might see like Royal Never Give Up, Weibo,
这一分 Ice King 的释放
those like orgs show up a lot more.
打名牌。
Always nice to watch these streams of these. Thank you, Axum.
我直接来预兆人，看到但是
TP is perfect to get out. Not quite. Oh no, actually Bianca was actually just hiding in the smoke, didn't get hit by it. Thrash is good.
两边的点里面一片混乱，但是弗勒星是精
The
彩。
plant has gone down, and you got a Viper's Pit that's covering it and also going into like
注意到字母哥在室外
lamps.
是静候已久，看一下标记的反清。
艾伦的魁父也在，字母哥有没有绕背后的机会？
I think the Wingman came out, but he didn't get a player in piss, but the Euro ult's gonna find him. Just as they tried to go in for the aggression, HFMI just cuts through them. Nice late layer.
优势，深贵不绝，而且王浩哲好像深贵不绝这件事把
That was sick, bro. That was so sick.
I think putting HFMI on like a alpha sentinel role might be one of the biggest brain moves that we've seen.
Yeah, I like this now. I like that people are starting to realize that like the sentinel role, especially when you're anchoring a site as well, like you can kind of just rely on them to get kills as well, and just it's such a big heavy frag role.
Yeah.
We saw it with Meteor as well.
Because that was the main problem with like HFMI for TYLOO last time. Like the final map, he had like 4 kills on Sky on split. And it's like that like secondary duelist aggressive player behind Life for attacking Soul was just gone. Like he was trying to play like too much with a team that he's literally just joined. So now he's
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna play Cypher, do my own fucking thing. Like I don't need you
that's
guys. I'm just going on my own.
That's the thing, man. You have freedom. Like that's like on attack you have freedom. Like you're not necessarily going in fast making plays, but if you feel like you got a timing or the rest of your team's doing something, like if you have a good feel for it, you have ultimate freedom. And on players that are like sick, like duelists, mechanically gifted, that's so scary to play against. Like a Lurker who has insane aim is just dirty.
Yeah, I mean, I always like the argument of putting your most mechanical player on Sentinel and not Duelist.
Yeah, and then just as long as the Duelist goes out, you're fine.
Yeah, just play like Defo, just
Send
be
it.
like a tank in World of Warcraft, just be the threat. Who do you put on Duelist if you're Vargas on Sentinel? Somebody that's very, the player that has the least ego, almost. Like a player that isn't going to get pissed off if they keep entering a site and they keep dying first, because they realize that they're being traded, like they're doing their job.
会非常难玩，可能会有字母哥有个1v1，独木把点内隔绝掉，正面 1v1，这个闪是这个闪其实是误打误撞，先是 Ice King 的闪，一声鸟叫之后，字母哥是。
Like you need somebody like Stu, I think, that just is not afraid to keep making the right play. I mean, that's why Zekken is as good as he is. Because Zekken knows when he needs to be aggressive and make a play, but he also knows when he needs to just sit the fuck down and chill. Like 5 versus 2, nobody's pushing past this smoke because they don't need to. Like, keep the money, keep it safe. If this was a 2 versus 5, then you might see a player push through the smoke to try and take a fight on CT. If they think that they're getting lurked, right?
但是这个时候福乐星我们看到故意在冲的第一枪，现在就是想收这个点数。福乐星是非常需要。
I think that's the easiest way for any player to think about how to like play Valorant and also how to watch Valorant. Like, in all honesty, I think it just comes down to that. Of, do we have the advantage? If we have the advantage, play safer. If we don't have the advantage, so if we're in like a 4 versus 3, then like don't gamble, don't make an aggressive play. You're in a 3 versus 4, depends on how much the gap is between teams. Like if this is a 2 versus 4, 1 versus 4, then you need to do something a little bit more crazy, right? The problem with China is they could be in a 5 versus 3, and then they still go for like the aggro play, and they throw. Case in point, the round after the pistol for EDG against Loud on Icebox.
配合上 AK 的惊喜翻腾，但这也就意味着 AK 其实能够快下点的能力是比较弱的了。他这一分主要的目的是帮队友拿点，这个点数给到福乐星，福乐星现在还差一个点。
There's a really good clip from God B, who was the IGL of Big when they were playing Valorant, and also the coach of Big in CS, where he says like when people talk about protocols and stuff, when you hear lo-fi like on the desk, like, oh, this team has really good protocols, it literally is just discipline. It's having those intrusive thoughts in your head that are saying be aggressive and peek. Like Flexid's got that voice in his head now that's like, I'm gonna go peek over the top, we gotta play it, let's fucking go, right? But he's like,
a prime
no, my
example of them
protocols are just to
struggling
wait.
for info.
I also like Flexin's like patience there to not just peek over the top.
Yeah.
Like I was just going on in chat about like there's a really good clip from God B when he was IGLing for Big, where he says that like protocols is just discipline. It's just knowing like when you have those intrusive thoughts in your head that like I'm gonna push, I'm gonna peek, telling yourself no, like we're in a 5 versus 3, I don't need to. It's more like drilled patience. Exactly, yeah. Like, you know, because that's what protocols are. It's something that you build off of. So naturally, you have to drill it into them. Nice fights in the end, but like, man, TYLOO are running away with it. It is their map pick, but I guess like the good thing about picking Bind is you should be happy to play either side. It's not like Lotus, but like Lotus, you want to be. If you pick Lotus as a map, the other team are going to pick attack because attack is usually the stronger side. Ascent as well. The enemy team picks Ascent, you pick defense, right? Because that's where like the map bias leads. For Bind, it's pretty 50-50. But if you pick Bind and they pick attack or defense, you're like gonna be fine. Aaron's flicks is really quick. Yeah, I think Aaron was one of the players that impressed me the most from Ascension. Despite Nip not really getting that far in it.
偏 A 的，但是点内毕竟还是一波弱侧。
这个监控其实一直没亮哦 ，AK 并不知道自己头顶有一个窥视者。
If TYLOO win, what does that mean for FNS? All good, I suppose.
天路打得很自信，
背后有监控打掉，毗邻之虎开路进灯区，现在防守方要默认灯区已经认了，浴室抓人，弹地闪假的真的。
Oh man, they absolutely just cleaning house.
穿板没有穿到，残血的小编是能够成功脱身。
They are getting so much utility out of Bianc so quickly. Like, he's throwing Dizzy, which he can't pick up, I don't think. He's throwing the Mosh, despite not really being under any pressure.
45秒钟的时间，主动权是落在进攻方天路的手上的。
单线的字母哥在 B 区想要找一个把人数掰回来的机会，必须要打得更加凶险一点才有机会翻。但是21滴血的 K Knight 打过一个，他已经
Really good timing on the peak too.
这一分。 弗勒星还有2颗烟，这几分他的烟。
Oh man, this Bianc wingman
假第一片皮蛋
just stole him.
非常危险，皮蛋打了，皮蛋。
He still gets a stud through anyway.
80滴血的皮蛋看上去有点硬。
Good old little bro, right?
把对面残血的小编逼走，但
Bro,
是
tanky
alright,
guy.
chat.
没有区域可以安排。
Tanky guy there, I'll give him that.
交流弹结束时间是够的，但是烟会消失时稳在。现在时间不够了，现在时间已经不够了。那现在 BLG 已经非常清楚胜券在握。 对于他们来说，最后这个人头交互
He just got stalled out from the molly.
Yeah, as soon as he saw the Brim Molly, he had to take TP. Like, there was no... It was done.
非常勉强。
技能是很漂亮的，从开
He also had to, like, number-wise, once he heard the guy spamming him, and he should know that the other guy caused, like, a good amount of pressure for 2 there, he just had to send it and take the jewel.
Yeah.
来到进攻端之后，他能够对场面带来多大的影响？王浩哲究竟能做多少的事儿？从手枪分开始期待。
I know we haven't seen much like bind from EMEA, but like, is it hyperbolic for me to say that TYLOO played the attacking side better than some EMEA teams?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it was good.
Like, I guess it's against worse competition, but...
Yeah, I think that's what you have to remember. You gotta remember that stuff, because like the way Billy was playing was like relatively easy. Like they played it good in terms of going slow, like waiting to see if there's pushes, just trying to find out where the cipher is, and then it became like relatively easy. But it was still impressive. Like fundamentally, like it was very good.
这是一个这个表情包的 cos 啊。
这个跟我们的这个。
They did also just get like, do you know what it reminded me a little bit of? Do you remember when do you remember FPX, like Navi FPX? They played against PaperX and they just held a default for ages, and they were just they're gonna mess up because they have to peak. It was literally just like one of them. Like we take a little bit of map control, and they know that they have to kind of send bodies to retake map control.
自己队伍的选图上还是比较满意的。 但是下半场得稳住，如果一个首枪分拿下来，感觉这胜利
Use your face as a recon dart.
地图的胜利就只
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. I mean, that's what they did.
看两支队伍在一边再战之后，又会有一些什么样的东西？当然，我觉得对于 BLG 来说，夜路这套体系确实是他们在这张地图应该说是
新的尝试，
第一次尝试。那这次尝试的结果，我觉得就是不管这张图赢还是输吧，我觉得后面要怎么去拿，怎么去打。
I think I'm watching the next series with TMV if you want to join. I think push to talk probably isn't worthwhile. I think just toggle death and honest is probably going to be better.
而在天路这边，至少个人的
Yeah, I might do it because it's just because the big Wolves fans.
Yeah. We need to find the name of like what the Wolves like traveling fans are. You know, like the die-hard ones that go
Yeah, the
everywhere
ones
to
that
follow
get
their
to all the
team.
away games.
Apply for that.
那下半场更大的压力将会给到 BLG 这边，包括贝尔。
Is that guy wearing an ant costume? Yeah, and maybe he's the VALORANT.
能不能够阅读到对方的战术，做出最极端的、最有效的临场的战术？
I hope we see some interesting Clove gameplay soon. I want to see them on Icebox and no duelist comps. We saw it a lot in like tier 2 of NA, right? Like a lot of no duelist being ran. And I think it might be the way to go. Because there's so much like utility that you want. Hey, Galv.
但下半场压力先抛给 BLG 首枪分 ，BLG 的进攻。
They are all over them, by the way. They have a 3-person stack for the map control they're gonna take.
Yeah, this is like TYLOO of like this time last year where they were a top 4 team. Like when they almost made champs.
Yeah, that's a nice read though.
你这个背景真的有点假。那这样的话，这个残局是一瞬间对于 BLG 来说非常难解。
Some of the best calling I think that Ice King has done too.
好消息是他们还有烟，还有技能。 但人没了，
这个1v1也没有办法，因为你毕竟是要主动拉进去，而且你为了不出声音，你还得是进步拉进去。
Did I miss some match or is this the first one? This is the first one. This is the first map too, Galv.
你可以看到这一分，其实天路在这种事前的准备上面 是阅读的非常好的，他知道对面喜欢打这个 B 小，他猜到对面可能会在 B 小去率先做事，所以他们在 B 小才做了一个3人的重防，而且也是赌对了。
It looks like
我觉得
Zest.
总体一点来说的话
Is it with how he's playing or
防守的时候
physically?
很多的设计，
是的
包括 B 场那波
So
的
I haven't
处理
been
嘛，但只不过
watching that
他们
closely.
要么是枪太差，然后要么就是可能最后搜
给的机会
点上来说，
没抓住，
是的，这个是比较可惜的。
溜溜被打，但是 SK 其实就是才发现自己是那
It
个
destroys him.
这个队友在队友在放长线，自己在钓大鱼，
还是
队友这个线放的非常好。
I actually want to change this so it's not
这
pushed
就比较难受，因为
tall.
他们其实没有安置爆能器
I
的
like
经
toggle
济，所以
deafen.
不太敢去做强起。
下一分没有强起的空间，只能放。那现在对于 BLG 来说，这一分的枪械就会非常的差，4把标配加1把
对
在枪械上面的投资微乎其微。而对面是5人齐起，我们看到天路在上下半场的第2分啊，齐起
Yeah,
比较求稳。
TYLOO changed everything. They changed their manager as well, I think. Sorry, Besso, I did see you. Have you moved, by the way? I was going to message you yesterday.
这个位置也可以
I wanted to see how the move was going.
有点难受，自己也是漏了动静。那告诉对面灯区已经站下来，但是浴室没有哦，浴室现在还在防守防的控制之下，想要强行安包啊，这个位置手稳加混也很痛。
Yeah, sorry, very
爆能器是拿命。
very overstimulated today, but I'm surprisingly pretty
非
zen.
常坚持的一剑到底，至少把钱先提了。
第一个目标完成，后续就是换几把枪。
Like I was very stressed. Yes.
Do you know what's rough about this? Is Billy look pretty bad on this map, and they get exposed like first game in of your season. Like that's like the worst thing that can happen when you have a bad map and you want no one to find out about it. And you literally it gets exposed first game of the season.
I mean, what team, when they changed their coaches, they changed their roster, they've changed roles. What team goes, yeah, we're picking Bind?
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I think there's teams now, even in like the other regions, that are scared to play Bind, despite being together for a lot longer.
我们再看一下毕业这个血量急剧之下吃的易损。
Actually, that's a good question. Like, what do you think is like the hardest map to like? If you had a brand new roster,
yeah,
you're coaching them. What map do you think takes the longest to sort of nail down it looking like pretty decent? Not your best, but like your. I don't want to permaban this map anymore.
I think it depends on players and IGLs, but I would say a lot of the time Bind is like one of them. But maybe that's just like past stuff from being in Liquid and us not like getting Bind. Like even Haven took a long time in terms of like actual rotates and stuff.
Did you ever catch the desk where I was trying to coin the term the Sliggy rule?
What's that?
So when you were cooking up crazy comps, I would give you 3 games. The first is like, oh, Sliggy's cooked up this comp for Team Liquid, it looks really good. I wonder how good it's going to be. The second time you play it, you're like, oh, it's still good. Like, teams know that they were going to pick, like, the Neon on Haven, for example. And, like, teams are still struggling with it, so maybe this comp has legs. Maybe this could be the meta. The third game, you just get absolutely destroyed. Every single time. Every single time that you and Liquid came up with something, it was like, oh, this looks good. Has it got legs? Oh, it has got legs. I wonder if this could be a potential... Nope, they just get destroyed.
Do you know what it would be, though? The third team that we would play would be FPX. And that's what would happen, and it'd be like everyone else in EMEA like would have just like bad coaches or just like wouldn't be able to do too much, and then you would go against like FPX and they just wreck you. But yeah, that did happen a lot. We also, the amount of times we had like one and done comps, and then we were like, it's fine, we can just go fix and just change the comp, and then we never had time to change the comp, so we just end up using stuff.
Yeah, because it'd work for so much longer, and you're like, maybe we don't need to change it because teams obviously can anti-strat it, and they haven't.
It was weird back then, though. There weren't like too many good teams. It was like Ascend, Gambit, FPX, Awesome, Fnatic, Guilds, kind of.
I mean, yeah, this is done. Go next.
Oh yeah, it's fully done.
From my tier 3 experience, Bad seems to be a no-go for most teams. It's so hard. It depends on the team, but like, from like talking about Odd One Out last year, it was such a difficult map because for us, I don't mind sharing it now because it's been a while. It's almost like our IGL Jada had a way that they wanted to play the map, and it kind of clashed a lot with like how Yakuza wanted to play it. And I think Yakuza as a player, like you watch them now on Valiant, Like, they're playing Jet and stuff on Lotus. Why? Because it's like comfort. Like, because they get to up a bit more. Their Raze is good. Like, they're a good enough duelist to play Raze on any map, especially Lotus. But I think they're just, sometimes their confidence gets knocked, and they're like, I'd prefer to play Jet here. I'd prefer to play not the meta agent. Which I think on this map, I think playing, like, the Euro is nice, but you don't replace the Raze for me. Oh my god.
This was an absolute slaughter.
It's so typical for, like, Billy to be like, it's same with like the Wolves game, that they got destroyed in that first series against Wolves and then win the rematch. Like, why do I feel that we're going to be here in like a month's time watching Billy on the precipice of making Shanghai? Or we'll go back to this and be like, you remember when they got absolutely ass blasted by TYLOO in the first week?
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like I've lived this before. What does it mean for Ardis' legacy? Does it matter? He's not going to remember the fucking names.
Yeah, not a great map. This is not a great map.
I mean, I'm so happy for TYLOO, though. Like, to look... maybe it's just that honeymoon phase a bit, too. Because there's no expectations on them to necessarily win this series, so they're just like, we'll just play. Let's just play. See what happens. Have you heard the translation of the press conference?
Yeah,
no,
sure.
actually. I guess we can check it out in a bit, but I do want to use this as a chance to check everything was live and a-okay. It was like a... What was the score in the end? Wait, I got a little notepad that I bought yesterday.
合理的方式去打出自己想要的一些玩法。
对，但我觉得对于 BLG 来说，他们要调整的问题还是不少的。就首先是在沟通上面，就为什么他们在打进攻的时候会吃到这个天路在防守。
TYLOO is essentially a new team. Other teams can't watch VODs to figure them out. That is also very true.
结果最后甚至都没有队员能够去补上枪。是。然后再一点就是，
Did Kankak say we're the champions? If not, then no one is. I mean, he's very influenced by Boaster, so him going for the... What's the dramatic irony quote to be taken and used against him is not too surprising. But, so what was the... Yeah, so this is wrong. Why is this wrong? Because this is taken off of... It's taken from the map CSV, so this can't be TYLOO. It's got to be TYL. There we go. That should fix it now. It's still very keen on keeping it as TYLOO. Which one is the... Oh, have I done it the other way around? I might have done it the other way around. I have done it the other way around. This is TYLOO, and this is TYL. There we go. It's me not using my own naming rules. Where are you now, TYLOO? TYL. There we go. Everything works. Easy fix. I don't know why I was going to look to this to like... I thought there was maybe going to be translations, but obviously not. So what were the map bans beforehand? For TYLOO, they banned out Lotus and Sunset. They banned out Lotus this time. So it was Sunset. BLG banned out... what did they ban out? They didn't ban out Breeze. I think they floated it. So maybe they're more happy with what they had there. Because Lotus is the third map. So we have Bind, we have Icebox. This was Breeze, this was Split. So what does that leave us here? Ascent. So this is a BLG, like, again, this is going to be like really wrong because we saw very little of TYLOO play. But TYLOO are going to be happy to play Icebox. They didn't pick it. It's modded, they're not gonna ban it, right? Man, surely JDG will be good this split aware. I'd hope so. I think they have everything that they need now. But it's hard to really get a gauge, I think. It's kind of like Billy. Like, you'll know from the first 2 or 3 rounds. I felt from, like, watching Billy, even from, like, losing the bonus. Oh, no, just narrowly winning the bonus. I'm like, I'm not comfortable about Billy here. Feels bad for J-Kuro, though. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, they had J-Kuro. They picked him up early, didn't they? And then Rare Atom didn't make Ascension, so JDG bought them. So it's kind of like J-Kuro. Like, he was, you know, the player that it seemed that JDG were going to build a roster around, and it's like, oh no, actually, we're just going to pick up Rare Atom. What? Wait, what was the stats? Sliggy, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Did you see that? The BLG had 12 first kills, and he only picked up 3 rounds.
Wait, was it 12 first kills?
Yeah.
I
BLG had 12, TYLOO had 4.
Yeah, man, that's mad.
Never seen anything like that before.
That's a really bad sign, by the way. That's not great. Doesn't fill me with much confidence for the next maps.
I was gonna check something. Oh yeah, I was gonna turn off push to talk and toggle deaf and change that to a different button. Whilst they're on break, I'll run some ads as well. I'm not gonna go anywhere, so if you have hey Komodo, are you not streaming today? If you're a sub, or you have Twitch Turbo, or you've managed to get around the ads for whatever reason, or you're watching on YouTube, you don't need to worry about this, but need to run them so people don't get ads in the middle of the game. So yeah, sorry about that. BRB. I don't like doing ads for various reasons. Okay, so that's that.
是天路 AK 的粉丝，天的是天路的天路，今晚肯定不是回家的路。我是 BLG 的粉丝，今天来给 BLG 加油应援，希望你们能出职业选手的风采，今天要加油。
So many people already covering China. I mean, I think there's still plenty of space. Like, I know what you feel, and I feel like that when I did Madrid and even doing Pacific. Like, it feels very like I don't feel like my voice has much to offer. But if you think like that on too much stuff, you won't be able to, like, the imposter syndrome will stop you from doing anything. I mean, that's one thing that I've learned from doing this, is just... I've odd-reviewed myself casting as well, like this for last weekend, and I'm like, I feel like I'm just, like, limiting what I'm saying way too much. Like, I'm being too afraid to call out a player for doing something I don't like, because I'm like, I don't quite have all the information. Maybe I need to watch it again to see exactly what happened, because I don't want to be like, why did this player do this? And then, like, I see that there was a particular reason, and, like, if I watch Sliggy's stream back, he points it out instantly, right? It's those kind of things that I'm like, and then people are like, why is the caster saying that, like, questioning this? It's clearly obvious. But it's my job to yap, so I need to just fucking yap sometimes. I got some CS and VALORANT OC coming up next week. Yeah, I mean, like, OC's looking to pick up now, isn't it? You're JGH in there. What was the question that you added? Yeah, like, you've got Swell in there now too. To me, you're like the Brenner VMEA. With casting? Or do you mean that I'm just, like, not afraid to be a little bit unhinged? Oh, the stream, yeah. Oh, that's a message as well.
我觉得这种大比分领先的情况下，如果我不在的话，他们可能会被翻盘。但是我在的话，这种霉运全被我吸走了。对，兄弟们打得非常好，帅。
是，那你这个霉运吸走，到时候不会带到自己的 rank 里吧？
那倒。
Focusing on all roads leading to Central Pacific at the moment. Yeah, I think that's also a good shout. I think it's only Choba doing watch parties for Korea Tier 2. I applied for it, but I didn't get anything. Yeah, but it might also be like, because I didn't hear back, that might mean it's fine. What's your opinion on the Sen win? Are you happy with the results? I mean, yeah, you can't say that they didn't deserve it with the road that they went through. I'm a little bit sad for Gen G, because I think that they should have won. And it was weird to see them bottle it when they'd been so consistent throughout. But with any luck, Gen G like bounce back from that. That they're not just going to be a flash in the pan. Which I guess is the good thing about EMEA is that both KC and Team Heretics have sort of shown that like we're not just a team that had like a crazy run of form. Like we are the real deal and we can be consistent. Especially Heretics. Like I didn't expect them to be looking as good as they did. I know the focus is going to be on like Fnatic looking bad. But in all honesty, like I think Heretics, like Boo especially, deserves accolades from how yesterday went. And also on the side of like the Fnatic conversation, I don't know what people are expecting. Like all of the problems that Fnatic said that they had can't be just fixed overnight or over a couple of weeks. It's a long-term thing. Like, do I think that Boaster should have not said what he said about like the quality of Madrid being worse and that they could beat any team if they were there? No, I don't think he should have said that. Do I think that he's right? Yes. It's like it feels like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier meme of like he's out of line but he's right. Like that's like Boaster's right. The quality of Madrid wasn't good in comparison to previous international events. But like that's like it's almost like the average baseline of quality. Madrid wasn't up, but like the quality of Madrid in comparison to Lock-In was so much better. So yeah, that's kind of like what I Okay, they're going Reina Gecko. Double duelist. I don't think TYLOO are that prepped for this. But I guess we'll have to see. Oh wait,
Lorena?
Yeah. I don't think they're really set for this one. I keep doing push to talk now when it's not. Fnatic will not fall off. I don't think so either. But I don't know. I feel a bit bad for Boaster because I don't think people said that they hate watching this stuff. I don't think that was necessarily warranted. But at the same time, like I think you have to realize that you need to get your head down a bit. What's your opinion on Clove? I think they are going to be better than most people give them credit for. I think they're going to be used in the pro scene a lot more than people might predict. Do I think they are better than like Omen on most maps? No. Do I think they're better than Brim on Bind? No. Do I think that matters? No. Yeah, there's no Clove for like a couple of weeks. Aaron using Reina to prep for Clove? That's a good theory.
而这张地图也是标记的选图，然后天路先选的进攻嘛，确实进攻属性还是偏强的。
Fnatic is not really washed. EMEA is just better overall as a region this year. I don't know if I agree. I think EMEA looks worse than it ever has. But I think that is just because it's a bit more of a turbulent time.
SK 已经是残血，只能后撤。开局 BLG 拿到了非常大的一个优势。
瑞娜在首枪分一旦造击杀之后，试镜拉起来是一个究极大 BOSS， 一枪头很难致死。而对于 BLG 来说，他们就利用人数的优势解决这个问题。
但是你得先产生击杀。
对，
像这一分就是。
I heard a knock, but I don't know what that was.
Knet 跟王浩哲的血量都非常低，
而且阵容的差异之上，你会发现，只是福乐星一倒啊，后续3名队友残阵去近点就。
It might have been Raf actually.
现在对于他们来说，没有烟雾的遮蔽，虽然字母哥的盖克还在。
有个皮带嘛，唯一的好消息，
看看能不能利用皮带先把包这个前提了。
但是现在 A 区点后藏3个，就感觉不会给你机会啊。
不想放包，从 B 点和 A 点的站位就是不想放你提这个前。
主动出击吧，王浩哲他只有20滴血啊。
血滴线给的是另外一侧，这对于字母哥是个名牌。2个头顶，字母哥能不能收完？但是队友也打了2个，
这。 1v3，
王浩哲这一分建功很大呀，因为他如果倒得太快，没有打这2个再死的话，那这个残局其实很难操作。但是王浩哲在死前是拖了2个人下水，相当于字母哥1打3。
Ziggy not cold. He is. We're just pushed to speak.
及时补枪 ，BLG 是拿到了首枪分的胜利
啊！首枪分的设计，防守端其实跟上张地图一样嘛。
The fair fanatic is that it sows doubts in their head. Yeah, exactly.
地图不同的就是他们有了成效，有了成效之后，在这张地图，由于天路没有暗之暴龙系的经济，王浩哲之前的所谓的第2把专武的蟒侠可能也会出现嘛。
而且现在对于 Allen 来说最难受的一个情况出现了，就是瑞娜需要第1个击杀去启动。
对，
但如果他在第1个击杀之前自己先倒
，Is that the first pistol BLG picked up?
前嘛，就是他们瑞娜如果没有枪，他也很难去造那个第1个击杀。
So.
这一分甚至都没有起正义哦，因为上一分最终也没有按到暴龙器，天路是5把标配出门。 而王浩哲
罗这个全家蟒侠
来了，前期有点尴尬，因为左右2边好像都有动静，溜了，主峰交过。
A 区这种短距离交
I'm waiting for the CM bundles. Yeah, hopefully they're not like
只要你把场面搅得够乱
terrible, because we don't get proper cards, I don't think. But I still hope that the cards are, you know, somewhat like some of the more straightforward ones, because even the straightforward cards in the team bundles are still pretty good.
点数会来得非常快啊！现在只差2个点数了，只差1个点数了。王浩哲也是收获最后的一个终结。那这样的话
，China bundle's going to be Vandals? I don't think so.
BLG 能不能去给对面造成一些重创，或者是
If it was, I'd be very mad if I was some of the other like teams from other regions.
它是有蟒侠存在的嘛，然后下分可能还有巨刃，就它整个明居的。
What do you think of the Farman Death Ball push and pistols BLG did last round? I mean, I missed most of it, so hard to say.
对，但是由于没钱嘛，确实也没办法，
起不了几把。好，那我们来看一下天路的关键分，由于经济的一些。
But I mean, you don't have a you don't have a Sage Wall, you don't have a Harbor Cove. I think the way to play against this comp on defense is to just keep rushing the site. Make sure you break the wingman, hold the site. You got spike control, and these players need to re-hit with utility that doesn't necessarily recharge.
艾伦是挂在了2楼，但是因为怕被穿板，他要撤回来。皮蛋安置暴动期，但是弗勒辛打了一个2楼，比尔的抱拳要等到下一分了。那这样的话，这一分已经没有太多能够反清的技能了，
有点麻烦，也没有出现绕后的情况。2楼的低打高。 小 K 没顶住。
I do like them being classics though.
那这一分只能去尝试下枪了，说实话。哎，10滴血，小编的一个穿板，然后2轮的无敌超杀，还是能够再释放出来，而且确实有束缚到。
Yeah, this comfort TYLOO for me just screams we haven't had chance to prep Icebox.
2把疗犬加1把数位也是拼一拼吧。
小编这分已经有2个击杀落袋。 现在只要去伤害对面的
And kind of like Komodo said, if they are cooking something, it'd be with Clove potentially.
他这个无敌超杀刚交完，又是3-4个点，
有点夸张。
什么意思？哦哟，什么意思
？Because honestly,
兄弟，你不想把它捡回来吗？
Because I know Aaron played it on Ascent. Pulling the deadlock.
蟒的存在，这标记下一分也得补全甲嘛，就确实也是有一定的压力。
看看有没有捡回来，我还很好奇这个话题的。
I mean, it might not even matter. Maybe just running double duelist at them might just
如果他能够去造击杀，打出这个抱拳，这可能
win the fights outright.
杀的强度就出来了。
这份蟒侠也是最后完成了一个非常秀的武器大师式的收尾。
Look, even as the jet putting the ISO, like really go off the rails cooking here.
哥们儿真没捡回来，那就蟒侠了。对面有多少轻甲呢
？2个，王浩哲和有3。
确实有。
这俩人都在 B。
Yeah, HFM might actually moving around onto different roles too. But it seems like they're putting like AAK just on like full-time duelist too.
而且这一分对于 BLG 来说不容有失。
You Reina Lane and Dizzy, that's guaranteed space. Yeah, and you can only really break one if you do it well enough. Aaron didn't play Icebox on it. No, I know. I just meant like because we had seen Aaron play with some of the Deadlock. Just sort of take what EG were running.
进攻方天路是在后点位放了一个少杰炮台，也知道你中路和 B 通没有做太多过度的前压。
来了 ，AK 问题不大，有点卡。前点拿下来，现在要看 Allen 这个位置，他会不会再往前走抱拳？但是
Good retake here, but you haven't stopped the plant.
是的，2个回合2个大，这也是因为杀的太多了。
Did they have one nano swap set up there already? Because I feel like that's like the main thing that you want to be doing.
Dude, back-to-back fish shorts. This agent needs a change, man. That can't be happening so often. I just feel like we should
up it to 7, 8 even.
Yeah, or like when you've used it the first time, you shouldn't. I don't know, man. Something has to change. Yeah, maybe just up it. Maybe that is easier.
What do you think of the Reina Gecko? Literal aim lab. I keep pressing to push the top, but now I've toggled deafen, so I'm just cutting myself off loads. What did you think of the Gecko Reina?
Yeah, I like that, man. The combo is strong. Like I had this theory in my head that this could be strong, but it's just like this is probably the only map which would be viable it working on. But yeah, it's just too much stuff to shoot. Like you know the Dizzy's getting a flash off.
I just feel like one thing that Billy just need to do is to just stop the wingman planting, and then it's so hard because you have no like utility that can come back online. You break both the Leas and the Dizzy's front in a place that you can't pick it up. It's just how on earth do they get in?
Yeah. I also feel like the team they're playing against cannot go B. Bro, he's going. I'm telling you, this guy's going for the world record of fish shorts. We might actually get the back-to-back fish short if he gets 2 kills or a kill and an orb.
Literally got what the same amount of kills there as he did in the entirety of the split map in kickoff, like against who was it even? It was like race. No, Nova. You got beat by Nova.
They look better than I thought. Wait, they're trying to go B? This team can't go B, surely. Maybe they can go B if they're fighting.
Would they expect that it's an eco though?
No, because they ecoed last, right?
Okay, yeah. I just wonder if it's one of those teams that's like, we go A on full buy, we go B versus eco. They will never guess.
Yeah, nah, I think this is literally just like, let's take a bit of map control, create some pressure, but we actually can't plant here. Or they're just getting the double orb and they're literally just going for the world record, man, I'm telling you. We're 1 orb away from the back-to-back fish short.
Yeah. You know what's funny? If TYLOO win this series, they have more like circuit points than Fnatic.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is they're a better team?
I'm not. I think I've learned from Boaster to not say anything. And no, I think Fnatic will be fine.
He gets the plant, use the fish short, just for the status, the back-to-back.
King 成为了队伍的另外一把尖刀。
安了个2楼包，退到后点。
好了，这份无敌超杀都不用交。
你就看这个嗨爆全场，加上
I've never seen like a Gecko plant just be so free.
换比分吗？
我觉得这分冷静下来说要考虑一下，如果再能打一个，我觉得残局是可以操作，但如果这个时候倒地。
Yeah, I mean the pressure over towards B kind of worked. It pulled people over there, and then A was just free again. I feel like a pause would be good.
I think like even just a simple thing of just putting nano swarms on like B and like the A box. I guess it's hard because they're planting in different spots, but like just something to like try to stop the wingman from planting and forcing TYLOO to try and like get in.
I literally, until they prove that they're gonna go B on a buy round here, I just 4-stack A the whole time. Just double info with Killjoy, solo B and mid. But yeah, I think like with the util they have, they can just save it. This is the problem, they're using all their util over towards B, right? In terms of nice. Using all their util over towards B. In terms of like the Killjoy, they should do what you said.
但天路已经证明了自己也有潜能可以激发出来，在今天的我们森林联赛第一赛段的首战揭幕战，就给到了非常多人惊喜，应该说给到了所有的人非常大的惊喜。现在对于 BLG 来说压力是非常大，对于 BLG 来说压力也是非常大的。新官上任3把火。
Who's the TYLOO IGL? Ice King. I think there's a command for it, so everything should be working there too.
暂停叫完，我们要来看 BLG 的调整。其实，在员工路上第一个战术暂停，暂停完立刻得分，王浩哲的那把名狙。对，但是现在没钱。
I mean, yeah, I was expecting more of Billy. Especially because the last time that they played Wolves on this map, they looked pretty decent. Like nothing seemed to really get past them. But yeah, I mean, we could talk about the Viper stuff like when we have a break.
然后这一分又是无敌超杀，第3个无敌超杀，上一分省下来的无敌超杀。这分肯定会交。
I don't think you can keep nerfing Viper though. I think you need to rework her.
走机会有，还能走。王浩哲抽到了一个非常关键的机会，但是捡不到枪，也没有办法控制部署区，还是要让。好处是削弱了一些对面的人数。
SK 虽然倒了，但他队友
There's so many things that you can do. But I think you need to like, you can't change it with just numbers. And everybody is just farming kills. Like mechanically, everybody on TYLOO looks completely
Bro, why do Billy look like a mess, man?
It's bad, isn't it? It's weird because I think Billy looked good against Wolves on this map. I mean, they're just mentally boomed.
Yeah.
太自信了。天龙现在打的相当的自信，他们相信队友能够去帮自己补枪，能够帮助自己打一些关键的眩晕光波和关键的技能。而这个自信，也为他们带来了上半场一个比较大的比分。
I think if you want to nerf Viper, I think you go for a Poison Cloud. You maybe bring it to 1 snake bite instead of 2.
Mid control. Big Byron, they're changing up.
Or you take the vulnerable away. Well, I think for the Poison Cloud, I'd prefer to have it like, instead of the way that it is now, where it's attached to the fuel gauge, that the Poison Cloud becomes almost like a cyber cage for Cypher, where you can throw it, you can't pick it up, and you activate it, and it activates for a certain amount of time, and then after 12, 14 seconds, whatever the smoke timer is, you can't use it again. So it isn't an ability that keeps recharging. Like your smoke is just
as this wall is committed every single time over towards A. Like they gotta stack this heavier.
已经是明确主攻方向了，但是由于可能会出现一些中路的单摸，必须也不敢走。
I guess it's hard to also just fight too. Just aim labs are fighting all this utility. Recon was nice.
Yeah, it was a drone or recon. Either way, it was nice. He pretty much won them the round.
Yeah, and why is he just not being in a position clearable?
30秒钟，包在身上，但是绕后已经到了这分4局。他想拿下一个超。
I think you should roll from a controller to more of a sentinel.
拿2个点数，一个点数已经拿到，第2个点数将是击杀或者阵亡。
I don't know really, because you have the harbor wall. And like you have Cove and Cascade as like other bits of utility. Also, I don't mind the role being blurred a little bit for Viper because it's not as if she's used as a main controller all of the time.
非常夸张的个人表现，OK。这样的话，对于 BLG 来说，个人表现也许是他们现在能寄希望于的其中一个。
No Gecko no win on this map.
是。
I do like Gecko on this map, for sure. But I don't think it's one of those that super giga OP that you can't play a Sova, for example.
那看一下天路又会有什么样的变化？因为 A 区前压现在看上去对天路来说是个名牌。
既然你喜欢压，那我一把进攻狙来抗衡你。
Yeah, I mean, I think
因为 B 区还没碰过，目前
it's just like all of the utility that she provides is just.
丢拿到了有 70的位置，有 70是要被逼退，可能会对到黄。
For someone like Brimstone, smokes are good, ultimate's good, molly's good, stim beacon, it's okay.
BLG 的防守站位，
但字母哥这一波是肯定要在 B 点。
Omen, smokes are good, ultimate's okay, paranoia is good, TPs can be good.
控制黄区，
如果要打 B 区的话，那就看首杀了。
ACV.
差一个点数有回复的，有 70，
有 70位置很危险，他跟队友是被分隔的，对面独木已经升起来，丢
Yeah, I'm
有没有办法活
not sure.
队友给了足量的
Sounds like some big changes are coming in, so
保证有 70的脸上是没有办法第一时间进人的。
这把狙虽然还没有响枪，但后续只剩1分钟，
中路已经是打了自动哨兵上去了，这是个名牌的入侵。
那个炮台应该是能看窗口的。
对，还有第2轮的预警。 所以现在知道 SKing 就在进厨房之前的管道里面，小 K 是知道这个厨房已经不是很安全了。第2轮又有人来清理黄区，第一时间有70加了1个，加了2个，这波干拉没有效果，明区也没有命中 ，AK 错失了一个非常好的机会。
At least there's a bit of fight back now for Billy Billy.
进入了一个非常难打的局面，中路的
But after the timeout, they've been really good.
但是只剩自己了。
Oh, better, not really good.
这又是个1比4的残局。
感觉30秒钟帮了这边击落，
Two players
应该是没机会。
watching across.
在 B 区的黄点啊，黄
The Viper's pit now too.
是站到了最后。
对，这张地图 B 区为什么这么难打？可以给大家简单普及一下。就是首先你过 B 场，你有非常多的点位要清，就对方可能会踩到一些高点，打那个出其不意，包括黄向上可能会。
The Ks have the reason why they're a pseudo sentinel. I think that if you remove the decay from their smoke or like the wall or cloud, I think you'd just completely destroy the agent. Which I think that's not what you want, I don't feel. It's easy to be like, oh, well, we just want a brand new meta, just completely fucking destroy the agent. But like, look at Chamber, right? Like,
这个结果是 BLG 很愿意看到的。
来了，这波是 AK 的巨刃，因为队伍的经济已经没有那么宽裕了。
the vulnerable on the molly is the easier nerf.
终极技能。 这一分反而是来到 BLG 的优势，回复。
Is decay really that impactful? I mean, since they added decay to the walls and the orb, it's pretty much been meta. The time before the decay was added, Viper was never played.
丢丢出手，往后这被独木两边脸上非常舒服的位置，他跟队友拿了一个双杀。天路做了一个3换1，弗洛辛硬补一个人，也免得混。
There's a lot of things that you can do.
在 A 区找到了自己的归属地。
Hey, this is much better, man. They have a good chance now.
Yeah,
the timeouts changed everything. Yeah, and they've been heavy prioritized. Let's talk to my chat now about it. The fact they're heavy prioritizing like yellow because this comp can't clear yellow, and then they've now had like that one round that they needed to just punish B, and now they're pretty much just gonna try and go A every time.
Yeah, I mean, also like op, I suppose, towards B, it'd be good. Just anything that can just outrange these guys.
So the timeout, just go A. We should probably go A.
Just keep going.
Yeah,
this is a good timeout too, I feel, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if they can, because they've sussed them out, and they at least need to clear top of the screens. That's where they're getting wrecked from now.
I think there's a good argument to buff a lot of the other controllers, like especially with Clove being added in. I think a buff to Astra would be really nice. Buff to Harbor would be good. Like actually make it a really competitive pool for the controllers. Because I think this is the problem that they had with initiators previously when Silver didn't have Fade. But now like you have a really good balance of initiator agents. I think you have a pretty decent balance of sentinel agents. Having it so it's not just Omen plus Viper on most maps, it'd be nice.
就唯一就可能出现的进图3，他们非常不希望有这样的局面。
因为天路现在我们其实并不知道他们在有限的训练时间里面练了多少张地图。
对，
如果来到第3张地图莲花古城，那么胜负尚未可知。我们来看一下天路在暂停回来。
Because I think a lot of people might argue of like, oh well, you want to be running this comp and this agent on this map, but it's like, and the comfort shouldn't matter. That all pro players should be machines and able to play whatever, which I like agree to an extent. But at the same time, if you feel that you have an advantage by playing some a little bit off meta, then that's always worthwhile to do.
跷跷板原则，我反布置。对，就 BLG 执行的跷跷板原则非常明确 ，A 点做前压必须。
I mean, they're doing what Sliggy said about like stacking 4 and pushing A.
天路的主攻方向找了一个管道下面的中路，有3体是个单人手臂，他只能拖，证明硬接并不是很理智。抱拳交出。
Reckoning's really good because it forces them into Yosemite.
而抱拳让 BLG。
And the late lurk is just too slow here from Ice King.
B 大的 Ice King 是一个暗位。
Always the risk of putting your IGL on a Sentinel, though, is just you're not with the team, so calling the timings on stuff just isn't easy. Just faffing around with his gun.
但是能不能守就是另外一码事情了。小 K 只要保活就行了，他有这个全面封锁，这拿分应该是板上钉钉的。对，大不了就交全面封锁拿分。
Buff another smokers won't do shit. I mean, alongside nerfed Viper.
去找一些击杀，会考虑交回复吗？可以往后交，就是他去踩一个对方。
But you also don't want to just gutter Viper.
往前交吗？他封了对面交全面封锁，对，不让你放全面封锁。
You want it to be that if you like playing Viper, that you have like Sunset, right? Like if you want to play Viper on that map, you have the option to, but you can play double initiator as well. But I've been the argument like of Viper being too strong for like Viper's the problem. So I remember when people were saying it was like more Sky, and like TMV made a video talking about like the Sky changes back then, before we got the nerf to her. But I'm still like, you at this rate you could just have Viper with a wall as one ability and she'd still find play.
我补枪效率是很高，从第一张地图到第二张地图都是这样的，但问题是他们找不到人，找不到人就容易出现补枪跟不上，然后被多杀的情况。
上半场最后1分。
It's bad if no one in the team could call for spots like that as an IGL, no. I mean, players need to be able to call those situations themselves, but I think that for an IGL, you want to be knowing what's going wrong, I suppose, and like where the timing is going wrong. Because you're calling the timing of when your team uses utility, right? So if you're not with the team, like they got hit by the Reckoning, they just ran out.
皮蛋给到了一个非常深的位置，这个包其实很难的点外去守哦。有趣 ，Allen 这被电到了1滴血，好像很残的一个血量，他需要赶紧利用自己的女皇指令去吸一口。他只要能弯塔。
I imagine comms are going to be kind of like chaotic too.
Allen 这个女皇指令能不能续费会非常的要命。
Dude, what a comeback, honestly. That timeout changed everything. They're looking like an absolute mess until that timeout.
Yeah, I mean, they're just playing the map a lot better. Like, they're doing what you said of just staying towards A and then... I don't know. I don't like having the IGL on the Sentinel on this map. Because, like, the round before, it just felt like the timing was off on, like, how they wanted to split B. I mean, the Reckoning hit them too, so they got kind of panicked. But,
yeah,
it looked really bad timing.
Util's been a lot better. Honestly, since that one round where they shut down B, it just felt, like, easy for them.
Your Clove feels more like a duelist than a controller, though. I don't think that's a problem. I think that the roles in game definitely could be like respected more, because you'll have people say, "Oh, you know, Chamber was a duelist; he wasn't a Sentinel," which is just not true. Like, I think the roles can be quite fluid, but if you're saying that like Chamber just isn't a Sentinel, then you're poking out your ass. Like, there's stuff that he can't do that duelists can. But just because you could be aggressive on an agent doesn't mean that it becomes like a pseudo-duelist. But I do think that, like, certainly as we add more agents into the game, having duelists that bring some Sentinel-esque utility or Initiator-esque utility. I think the way that, like, Anders looks at the game with, like, aggro control mid-range is better than trying to do it as a duelist/controller.
2张图之中是带着优势的。
而且你要知道 ，BLG 他们这个双烟阵容打进攻是很强的，就首先容错很高。
So yeah, like I think agents being a little bit inspired from other roles is nice, especially for ranked, to give control players more like agency, to feel like they can fight and be aggressive and not just be support players the whole time. I think that's the way to go. But I don't like the argument that people have of like, oh, the roles in the game don't make any sense. That you'll have people go, oh, HFMI doesn't play Initiator, he plays like Intel Initiators instead of Flash Initiators. And it's just like, oh, for fuck, they're just Initiators.
OK， 双方换边来到下半场，现在标记是来到了进攻端，他们这种强势期就在进攻端的弹幕，但是首相分就往 B 区。
I definitely think there's coaches, especially, or like content creators, that are guilty of making the game much more complicated than it needs to be. But I think that the fact that like the way that Anders talks about it is inspired from literally one of the like biggest strategy games out there at the moment with Magic the Gathering, like, says everything.
对，这个寻敌剑标定确实很要命。弗勒辛不想退，残血往前走，我要顶。但是他也就顶了2个，残局是个3打3，但已经是个不错的局面了。他在一个。
But it's crazy to me that Anders can't find a team, and also why Riot haven't just fucking hired him.
对面的转点，他现在不确定对面到底是要打 B 还是打 A。 他跟小 K 可能会有一个正面的对位，
他架的还是一个第2枪位啊，你得往前贴。
Like, as I can understand it for some teams, like if you don't buy into that way of thinking, that more like every player needs to be on board with using data and stats and war theory and classes, I suppose, of characters. But Riot, like, it just seems to be like such a easy win. I mean, I think, yeah, for Fnatic, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody like Boaster isn't on board with the way that Anders thinks and plays the game. Nice double peek. So what, that's 3 pistols to 1?
这两队伍就是碰上之后啊，场面上的击杀是非常的精彩。这一分拿下，下半场的分数要继续扩大，这分差要继续扩大。那天路可能就会面对一个经济极度劣势，然后大图没枪可用的局面了。
哇，这波其实 Knight 有一个击杀，应该在丢命中的一瞬间哦。
Yeah, I think you'd have to like build. Anders would be better off just building a team from scratch, I think.
在 B 区硬扛，打2个半 ，AK 正义上接下来是 Knight 的表演时间，在被丢命。
So I think also the problem is like if you come into these like arguments with this comp, this style, this way of playing is subjectively better because the data suggests it, and you end up in a situation where you play in a series and you lose with the optimal way of playing, it's kind of like you can just lose all trust in the system that way.
正面必须这亮动点，顺云抢黄区的高点，有丈云，这个丈云是不想让你快速安保，
要混。
弗勒辛，丈云。
标配3连发
没喽，他脸上有2个人，他最多只能换1个，他选择藏一下，残血，有 Yosemite， 残血还在顶，没有人能够收掉 Yosemite。
It's fun watching the Chinese teams because they don't have the skins. Just watching them have just random bundles.
Yeah, I think they're getting them before Shanghai, which is good.
Yeah,
maybe for playoffs.
That'd be cool. I wonder how they look.
Hopefully it's not a crazy crunch for the devs as well.
Is there any bold colors? Wolves could be pretty bold.
Yeah, Billy's gonna be nice, I imagine, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope people like the color red because there's a lot of Augs with theirs.
Yeah, I was gonna say the majority is red, right?
I
think Novus potentially could look really good too. With the purple.
Yeah, purple.
但是如果你这2个点数白白给出去就有点亏。主锋拉黄区近点想贴近距离 ，AK 点了1个，还行吧。但是对面也收获了2个不错的点数。尤其是小 K。
Maybe like with EME and Blue, yeah. I mean, I don't even think it's fair to like look at the teams and be like, this color scheme would work, this color scheme wouldn't. Because there's so many bundles that have good color schemes, like the teams themselves have good color schemes, but the skins don't. You think Wolves are going to 2-0? No, I actually think Tech could win. Wolves should also be good. Team V will be shilling out so hard. I do wonder that if he'd get in trouble from Ascend, if he shills too hard for Wolves.
前区跟王浩哲的位置一样，但是被对面抓了一点球。他在扫地上的自动哨兵。对， 自动哨兵确实扫掉了，看一下 AK 没扫掉，这硬
Oh, yeah, pick it into 5 there.
亏大了，
这200块的技能酿造的惨案。
字母哥能溜吗？不想溜，丢丢帮我。
Flash is wait for.
但是对面有抱拳。
Ice King is trying to fight on site. I mean, they see all of this. Good molly. But like, you have used everything, Tyler. Against the bonus, you've used everything to just hold on. So the guns just have to be everything. Using the one way against them is nice, but that's a bonus win for BLG. This is kind of similar to like Cadril where another team's just, yeah, you can't be too strict on it, I suppose.
他们哨兵也是为了给到你 A 区一些我可能会去前压的压力，但这个自动哨兵他可能就消失隐形的时间就那么几秒钟。
关键是为了这个自动哨兵，亏的其实更多，
代价太大了。
这个风险和收益是完全不成正比的。
I guess it like depends.
要不要考虑去喊个暂停呢？不是这一分就是下一分了。
这一分没钱，算了。田路也陷入到这个防守方的尴尬的情况，就是丢分没钱。
对。
纯前分有正义有数位有锋刺，前点是手稳雷击剑的套餐，拿点数必死。
这个破流配合王浩哲的凌空推进还是蛮舒服的，因为他有一个蛮高的高。
It could be very different if they did. I don't know. Even if they didn't have a bundle to sell, I wouldn't be happy as an org if any content creators of like mine are getting people to buy stuff from other orgs.
位儿不对，哎 ，AK 是绕后杀了一个。
两人的绕后那把枪。
Why did they catch Yosemite? Oh, on the flank.
字母哥的绕后有没有暴露呢？暴露了，现在知道了。这样的话
Yeah, DRGs would be good.
两人架死就好了。正面对面也没有什么。
Trace actually could be really nice as well, like a deep blue and a yellow.
正面弗勒星。
I mean, damage is actually amazing here from TYLOO.
两边各自是一个1v1，比尔也在1v1。比尔的那边弗勒星是没有捡到枪的，弗勒星还是一把正义。AK 又抽到了穿板，20滴，弗勒星在第一包。
Right, you cleared the lurk finally.
有悬念，尽力了，下了3把枪，但现在问题不在于对方的经济，而在。
Do you think they'd sell more bundles if they added in the skins for every gun? Makes no sense. Depends on how much more they make it costly and just how much you'd.
会不会考虑去叫这个暂停？因为现在 BLG 离他们的赛。
Like you wouldn't be able to do anything like that in the future. That's the thing.
在调整的情况下，对方也可能会做出调整。
对面可能会搞点怪的，对，直接硬拿2分就结束了。
How do you pronounce Gecko's nickname? HFMI.
这分弗勒星没有捡到枪，其实是比较尴尬的。如果他捡到枪，正面的1v 可能会有更多的话语权。田鲁叫出了自己的战术暂停。
So just watching China teams for the way they play is just like watching 10 seconds. Yeah, mechanically they are amazing.
上帝的视角来说，还是状态没有像第一张地图和第2张地图的上半场那么火热了，然后反而是队员们稍微打得有点着急，他们可能会因为一些小细节层面的这个问题，然后丢失一些，就犯一些小失误，然后丢失掉大局嘛。
是，而且我觉得你可以看出来，就可以回答很多人那个问题。
I just want international winners, special variant for related skins. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like good information out of Leo talking about like their plans, why they haven't done certain things with skins and all that.
你瑞娜是很难去一接多的，
这没办法。
Yeah, also people like call him Alphabet Wi-Fi. Because his name's like a Wi-Fi password.
现在丢到了天路的头上，这张图看上去对天路来说已经是山穷水尽的一个局面，
抢手杀去了。
AK 这把民居看看怎么说，进攻方
This is map 2. Map 1 was 13-3 in favor of TYLOO. And it's Lotus as the third map.
旁边有保镖弗勒星，这样的话，其实天路是非常希望第一时间有人来 B 的。
艾瑞还想去做前推啊？
对，瑞娜这个角色确实也是，你在防守方不前压干什么呢？
然后感觉天路他们的一个视角应该也是要围绕，就中路你先把那个自动哨兵和哨位部来破掉，才能够拉扯到站位。
Oh, fuck, unlisted, I didn't even realize.
我出去探探路。
哇，这 timing，
点到为止。雾化终止。看到一条腿。
Will be the final map. It is Lotus.
实际上有把大家伙在空中架着。
中路自动哨兵被触发了。
Right, Flexen knows that they're going to be pushed from mid. They're comfortable that nobody's going to push to B at the same time. Or it's going to be a late lurk. Now it's a bit more uncomfortable, and Flexen kind of unknowing. Well, I feel like he shouldn't have been pushed into that position. Like they had the read and they got into a very straightforward, clear of an angle.
AK
And then you got a late lurk on top of this from Yosemite. Good fight. Great kill on Twice King. Yeah, I'm not a fan of how Flexin played that there.
先皮蛋低包逼对面出来，他想找位置。哎，这个手稳好像有点给不到，而且手稳的伤害也不够，但是枪的伤害够。
Red the win, man.
包是有意安在了一个在中路管道下面可以看可以穿的位置。字母哥枪一。
Oh, he has to reload as well, so it makes the timing incredibly awkward.
有3枚的反绕，点睛之笔。 中路抓到一波巨大的侧身，而且
What does the score go to each round? 13 unless it's 12-all where it goes to overtime. But if we get to overtime, I'll explain it then.
对，而且你会知道，这逼通给到的压力还是源于贝尔的灵性一跳。
It was a good call from Yosemite because he was lurking B main and then he goes around and flanks the lurk on the other side.
伯父众望，救驾，帮助队友能够缓解这个压力，而且这个安包的位置是有设计的。这个安包
Agent clothing skins, probably never. Maybe gloves, but I doubt.
12比5，7个局点给到BLG。
现在对于天路来说
They bred the recon and they're actually pushing up close here, but the Cascade is just too strong in this position.
但是还有标点，试不了一点，溜了。
Aaron has to back up.
还有个女皇指令，
He even uses the one orb they had for the Devour to heal up, and he's still 22 HP.
头顶有人，脚下也有人 ，SK， 到处都是人，艾伦的女皇指令也没有收获，那账号。
Weird for me to be calling out Reyna's utility in a pro game.
而且现在对于回防的两个人来说，绕后是个名牌，中路 BLG 能算得到。抱拳好像
拿信息
没拿到 AK 的位置哦，但猜到了吗 ？AK 数位点头。 但是他接下来搜这个点是最难搜的一个90度的位置，
在等队友。
但是好像不用搜了吗 ？AK 已经被打残，另外一侧弗勒辛抓到了这个侧身的机会。K Knight 现在知道头顶有人，头顶脚步声咚咚响 ，AK 落到1楼直接被接，弗勒辛1打1，他知道对面的位置。哦，加低。
Good round from Flexin.
胜机一气呵成，
冷静。在这一分的结果，站在 BLG 的
Like good from TYLOO, I suppose, considering how awkward that first fight went.
压力对于天龙来说依旧不小。
啊，这样的话，靠着弗勒辛最后这个残局兜住啊。
Maybe you could do some like victory poses like Overwatch. I'd like a play the game system into and I've like
点内是难守的，但如果你去尝试做前压的话，把寻机剑打掉
have the animations into.
以及2楼上滑的那个绳索房之后是有操作的空间的。
没错，对于天路来说，每一步都是如履薄冰啊。每一分都是如履薄冰，
主要他们现在没有容错了。就如果你做很激进的前压，可能会付出代价。
再次感谢双方的粉丝给到队伍的支持，但是 B 大已经打上了 AK，
He gets him.
出了大问题。
这天中飘出一道优美的弧线，
他想放人，等一下，不经典。
Nice timing from Aaron. Getting the third is really good too.
耐心，
一波又起。
Oh my god, that peak was crazy.
有没有 ace？ 没子弹换弹，但是是1v1。
What a timeout, by the way. Telling you, fully different team after that timeout. That looks really sloppy until then.
I think they were just panicking a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I wonder as well for like BLG who that was. Like, is that Bale being able to talk to the players, or is that like Jackson just be like, guys, you're better than this. Chill out.
Yeah.
It's just TYLOO.
Yeah, whatever it was, changed everything. Because they didn't change too much, really. Just like different positions on A. They kind of fought a little bit heavier instead of giving them sight, I guess.
放过去2个，打第3个，最后来到了一个1v1，
很冷静。
但是如果没有看错，最后是一个提前枪。 在替逆扔出的
压死了。
It's also a strange round to end on, where it's just the spike's not even like planted; they're just fighting him.
Guy's gonna ace it to win.
Yeah, everybody else just collapses. Is that the end of map 2? Yeah. We got a Lotus coming up next, which I did want to check like comps wise if we'd seen teams play it. Billy were 2-0. I think they beat Tech and Trace. They played it twice at play-ins, yeah. They destroyed Tech. This is a really good map for Billy. I don't think we ever saw TYLOO play it.
就这张地图它是有一个就刻度和标准在的，就记忆在莲花古城有多强，峰峰的雷兹。
So Billy might be able to turn this series around despite Bind looking atrocious for them.
现在对这张地图
You never know though. I guess the only concern I have is just it's not really a map that you can go too off meta with.
你现在要扛这个压了。你在图一抛给对面的压力有多大？你在这两张图之间，你就要扛多大的压？
对，而且
China desk looks clean. Yeah, I mean, all of the production from the China side is amazing.
就我们刚刚看到，就是3个回合2个大，然后一个上半场甚至是有4到5个终极技能能够放出来。
但你可以看到击杀没有转化成收益，这是非常致命的一件事。对，击杀没有最终转成，包括终极技能也没有最后转成收益。对，这4个无敌超杀并没有每一个都转成分数。
还有一点就是 Allen 一直很担心的一点，就是他们在短时间内究竟有没有练4寒冬这个莲花。
What are you saying now about
战术多少的状态
skins? Just so I'm caught up.
是 BO3 打满，对于每个队伍都是一个非常大的考验。而对于 BLG 来说，他们现在站在了胜利天命比较倾斜的那边。我们来听一下他们的队伍语音。
I just think it would make Hogs way more money. The whole point of like stipends and things like this isn't to make a big wad of cash now. It's to be able to keep making a good amount of money, but consistently year on year. They don't have to design new skins though. Yeah, they will do. And also, it's definitely not as straightforward as just change the colors on it and it's good to go.
好，那这张地图 MVP 也是给到了王浩哲。
Just made the same classic skin onto a Vandal or Phantom. Yeah, but like, if you added that in, the bundle goes from costing $20 to like $50.
你不能害怕，必须要相信说你站在第一线就是要为队伍打开破口。
I think Lexi's had enough of it too.
回放着他那一分顶着霹雳、顶着眩晕光波、顶着严肃的技能，包括皮弹打了3个半。
好，我们来看一下最后的数据，王浩哲24-15-3的一个 KDA。 可以觉得他直播的时候可能会有点搞，但是王浩哲在比赛里面，他从来都是以100%的认真态度。
But the process is a lot more complicated than.
这个战绩也是能够看出来，包括通过刚刚的 Team Radio， 我觉得
Than you think it would be.
他们有3点做得很好。第一点就是状态调
Not only from like actually making the skins, but also like the red tape that you have to go through for like quality assessment. Like you have it at the moment in the game where the Ion Sheriff was super loud, the audio was just off. Like shit like that happens all the time. I mean, this is better. Like you have the majority of first kills, but you're actually confirming rounds. Already had the file, you know. Yeah, but it's not just like a file, right? Like, but also like this is what I mean. You don't want to just have these teams make money now. You want them to be able to make money potentially on the same level next year. So maybe making a Vandal skin then would make sense.
这我觉得是非常值得去考虑。
这个超杀对于团队带来的整体增益以及对于比分的转化率还是稍微有点偏低。
而且你要考虑你带的。
Like the process of making a skin takes a year. Like it doesn't take a year like in Blender to make the thing. But like from when you're communicating with teams as well, like there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of meetings that you need to schedule. Like shit like that is just gonna like take way too long. But you want it so like if Orgs made like $2 million, $1 million off their bundles this year, you want it so they can make $3 million next year, $4 million in the year after that. Like I think a lot of the decisions that Riot make about various things can be really confusing, but there are people paid a lot of money to sit and make those decisions. Like, I would recommend watching the episode of Plat Chat that Leo Farrier is on, because he does talk a little bit more about like why certain like skin bundles are the way that they are. Like why they're not doing skin bundles for stuff like Game Changers or Tier 2. Ultimately, it comes down to like if we make too much stuff, we either outprice people. Like if you add a Vandal into this bundle, you make it like $50. Do you make as much money from that? As opposed to just a classic, which you're always going to have for $20, which is still a lot of money to be asking, to be honest. But because I think for esports, you have so much of an audience that you can reach. The problem is that people watch it for free. Sorry, I should run ads as well. I'll do that now. Like people should run it, like people run it for free, so you can't. You've got an audience that aren't paying for a license to watch it like they would do with like ESPN Sports and stuff like that, like NBA for Premier League. Like, it's readily available to watch, but you can't monetize your audience because everything's free, so they expect it to stay free. And also, most of them are in a younger demographic, so they're at students or at schools. They don't really have money to be spending on like a Sky Sports license thing. So that's the priority for like esports, is to like make money for the orgs, to collaborate with them, and to make a certain amount. It's why we're not going to get like a full Champions like bundle with everything in it. It'd be nice to sort of have a bundle where you could have like a lot of like other little bits and pieces, which you kind of have anywhere with like a card, gun buddy, spray, stuff like that.
他抓到了很多分，就是对方阵容的小劣势。就你既然探取信息很难 ，BLG 做了一点，他们在前中后点不断的去转换整个团队点内的站位。
Yeah, Limey's got a good point. Like, would you buy a Sentinel's Vandal over your favorite Vandal that you have at the moment?
他就是能多杀，他就是能够就是利用队友的一些拉脱和协同来打你一个这个关键比分的获取。
而且我觉得确实你也能看。
I could say probably not, but
完全是跟场面挂钩的。你在这一把里面，你看到在上一把里面，
yeah, I don't know.
声音的 BLG 的5个人或者说4个人，因为上一把其实是如果没有记错有一个选手。
So I think the classic is a really good idea. But I don't know what if you were to do another skin, what you'd pick next.
还是王浩哲，他在前区拿到了大量的击杀，为队伍在上半场打开了这个领先。
I'm gonna go grab a drink because I have a Lucasade in the fridge. What time is it? It feels like midday already. I guess it does start at like 10 a.m.
但其实他在图2就达到名局，或者说关键时刻该发挥还是发挥，
还是得这个味儿，还是得这个英雄。
But yeah, BRB.
图3是莲花古城，其实我们在赛前也聊到一点，就是 BLG 是揉骰揉赢了，然后选择天币，所以最后的图2、图3都是他们自己的选图。是，那图3的莲花古城，他们有今年2场全胜的记录，战胜过 TE。这张地图他们已经打得非常的熟练，而且那一场对阵 TE 的时候，他们还是先选的防守开，防守拿了一个很高的容错和分数。
没错。所以对于天路来说，他们要看在这个。
Thank you for the Tier 1 race.
然后有拿什么样的阵容？
时间太紧
，Very appreciated.
所以压力一定是自己这边是比较大的。
对，包括状态嘛，就是可能图1的时候来到图2，大家会担心BLG这可能场中10几分钟能不能调整过来。那现在就需要担入。
The problem with opening the door is they're doing a lot of building work around me.
一切向好，他们需要维持自己的状态，尤其是王浩哲在上一场地图确实。打出了非常不错的一个准头，还是那句话，你说他没有遇到过。
This game is not over yet. No, I mean Billy had a really good bounce back.
你不能说因为白给就去缩，你还是要该打。
We need judge skins.
对，所以我们一直在聊，就是决斗位他究竟看不看战绩，他肯定是看击杀。
Just a different one each year.
但对于1-2位
Yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to see what they do. I think that's the thing, especially with like balance as well and like agents. I think it's fun to like debate what we could see like with Viper nerfs, for example. But I do like trust like Riot's experience and knowledge. Like even if they make different changes to what I would. I think always assume that if you have a very obvious point as to why haven't they done like Vandal skins for all the teams? If the answer seems like an obvious one, or like more if the question seems like an obvious one, assume that the Riot have an answer for it. Same could be said about like map vetos as well. Like we had that a lot of Madrid of teams just being like, oh, why did Genji pick this map instead of this map? And then when they beat Sentinels, then people were like, why did Sentinels pick Breeze as a third map even though they didn't? Yeah, both teams going super duper meta. HFMI back onto Sentinel, Ice King on Initiator. I mean, the roles here for TYLOO look better than they did on Icebox, so I'm excited for that. As for Lotus, this was pretty much what they ran before, I'm pretty sure. Like, this is something I need to fix up. Raise Fade, Killjoy, Omen, Viper. Yep. This comp got beaten twice yesterday in the MEA. Well, it's not gonna... Well, it's gonna lose here, but it's also gonna win here.
那看一下两边的双烟黑梦谁会打得更好一些？其实这张地图现在阵容也是逐渐的开始动摇了。双烟黑梦确实一度很流行，但是现在就包括最近大家如果有看海外的比赛 ，EMA 的国际比赛，甚至出现了炼狱
啊，就昨天晚上哪币打 Team Vitality 的那场比赛，
对，甚至出现了炼狱的一个玩法，单烟炼狱的一个玩法，其实非常的有意思。所以对于所有的队伍选手来说，也是要去重新思考。
I always think it's weird when teams swap around roles across maps. I mean, for like teams like TYLOO, it's not too much of a surprise, right? When it's only recently sort of come together like this. Is what I would say.
这个图3对于天路来说，巨大的不利因素都站在了他们这边。
对，就我们从纯上帝视角或者事前的视角，你会觉得天路是非常难打的，他们的练习时间非常有限，而这也是对面2选1选的图，
状态能不能调整回来呢？大大的问号顶在脑门上。先打进攻方的是 BLG， 防守方的是天路。
天路也主动选了一个防守边，也比较让我们的意外。我们要看防守边有没有什么设计，3个轻甲加标配的选择，更多的倾向于技能。
而且他们是把黑梦单挂 C 区，哎，
上来扔了一个 C 区的鬼影，跟对面做了一个 C 区。 幽影烟的互换，
对，而且 A 区放的这个独木角度也很有意思，基本上是守后点的，还保了一个少级炮台。
对，然后如果打回防呢，也有点操作空间，
对，
因为可以把外面隔开。哎，有意思啊，这个少级炮台其实是很少见的，一般这个位置是蹲个人。
那现在标记的进攻视角来说，就得挠脑袋了，他们不太确定。
We do Pacific tomorrow. No, we'll be focusing on China
拿了踩雷飞机换对面的少级炮台
，and we'll do Pacific Monday, Tuesday.
但是他其实不想去拿肉身去拆，因为他觉得肉身拆一定会被勾。就这个少级炮台在一对面打。
但你这个置换带来的就是对方少级炮台大概有个40秒钟左右的回复时间。
Something I've seen Vitality do this season as well. Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately teams should aim to not have that.
然后 A 区是留了。
But it's easier said than done. And sometimes just roles work out better in some instances. Especially when you have like Viper being the main controller on Breeze and Icebox. And then secondary controller on other maps. How did TYLOO... Oh, HFMI got the kill on the lurk. I like this decision though from K-Knight. It didn't work. But I do like that you're in... It's what I've said before. Like, you're in a 4 versus 5. You need to make a play. So like pushing this smoke and being aggressive is good. But like, if you're in a 5 versus 4 and we see... who was it? Like K-Knight go for that peak? Then it's, you know, it's a disaster. It's not a good move. Appreciate the commitment to China scene this year. Really needs exposure for English viewing audience right now. I mean, I really enjoy it. Like, I'd like to be in a position where I can watch party like all of. Nice shots. Really good paranoia too, actually. I'd like to be in a position where I could like watch party at all. Just dedicate to like streaming full time instead of like worrying about casting. But I think I gotta pace myself and pick my fights. I'm very keen on like covering China as much as I can. Season 8 combat used. Oh, sorry, it was haunt nade. Kind of clever though. You throw it in like a similar position to where you might seize. But you also throw it into this corner where it's like harder to clear. Because if you throw a haunt here and it gets broken, you know that there's a defender here. It's really good for like clearing this corner or like clearing behind here or top of here. There's wolves after this, yeah.
总共是起了3把长枪嘛，现在掉了1把也还行。就主要我担心的一点就是刚刚这个黑梦拿了
MLB StatCast type website. Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
对于防守方来说，点数本来没有那么好拿。
Haven't the foggiest.
让他能够快速3杀，最后是落袋。
带枪指挥。
I think the stats that you get from VLR is good. I was thinking about it earlier, like with the sheet that I have, like making. Maybe not that version, but making a version that like can have all of that data imported, and then it can be shared out to like all the streamers. So instead of like having to look at VLI, you can just you'd open up the spreadsheet, you'd get the like page, And all of that information would just be available, so people could see like map vetoes, previous performances. Like Slee, you can just open up a sheet and it's got all of the information in there, what you might need.
但是也还行吧，就现在对于进攻方的雷兹互换来说
Hello Zolwek. Taking a fight, trying to bait for the judge. Judge peeks out. K-Knight not buying it. Statcast is like a live play-by-play app. I mean, I feel like the technology would be available. You kind of have it with like Augment, but you need grid access, which only teams have. I just don't think that's like a priority. I don't think Riot really cares about like the data analytical driven side of this game. They're more focused on like the clicking heads audience. That's why a lot of the analyst desks have just got very like narratively driven and pretty bare bones on like detail. Right, you can still do telestrators, but it's just not prioritized. Especially from like a stat side. Because you have like people like Steel and Bone Cold on the desk and stuff more often, which is good, but
而对于天路来说，下一分是非常大颗的分数。
对，天路他这个经济应该是就是起不了一把名车出来的，所以下一分 BLG 也不用太过担心是。
I think it's what also the majority of the audience prefers. I do too, but I think that that's going to mature and evolve over time.
太有限了。
幻影，但知道了一个。就我觉得把幻影放到前面，这个危险还是挺大的，就是捡回来嘛。然后福勒行者把判官跳喷失败，也是让大家知道说，在这个版本跳喷已经没那么好使了啊，谨慎跳。
2比1。
It's just this sort of like weird dichotomy, I suppose, of when you work on a desk, people maybe not paying attention or caring about what you say because you don't have like that experience beforehand. Like this person doesn't know what they're talking about, but at the same time, people's knowledge on the game not really being like valued.
他很想去拿点数，
不好吧，朋友？优爪加雷锁碎石，应该是没有锁住啊，
踢走了。
So you end up in a position where, like, I want to be careful what I say because it sounds mean, but you end up where there are people casting or like working tier 1 events that don't know basic stuff about the game.
Allen 是一个人悄悄咪咪，而且有队友在帮他勾，字母哥会帮他勾，但对面的鬼眼字母哥得打掉，字母哥打掉没有问题。Allen 是个暗面，
Because the people that decide those roles don't really know themselves.
第一时间不太好突破，第二时间呢手稳先弹一下 ，Allen 这个位置并不好动。
C 区顶前点了，现在并没有选择去。
Yeah, but I think like for Steel, like that's a good way to sort like he has the stuff that he values and sets himself up for. And so long as he works out on how to not trip Pansy up as much when he's talking so much about a thing and Pansy's like, can we move on to the next round or I need to start play-by-playing? Like he's gonna be amazing.
还挂了2个人啊。 这一分进点如履平地，但是打回防你有多少技能呢？
现在关键就看 A 大这个对抗 ，A 大其实现在是2打2。
It's good that he gets to practice it. My argument would be for that is like he shouldn't be using tier 1 fucking broadcasts as practice for it. But I think, to be fair, it seems that he is more just like covering for Hypoc for whatever reason than like being an active replacement. Like people shouldn't be trying to get their fucking reps in doing like the international leagues in EMEA. Even Ubercast starts from NA challenges. Exactly, yeah. So like having tier 2 casters just sort of come in and be like, oh, well, they're expected to like use this time to get better. Naturally is like upsetting for me. That's like lost out on work, but like I don't think that's right. Because I'm sure that you could have easily got Uber and Wyatt to cast in tier 1. Maybe you only got a couple of days.
这分投资很小，一把雄鹿，然后短炮正义，B大想直接拉吗？
这敢拼短枪吗？
对丢雷，雄鹿暴露，那
走了。
But like, say if, because I cast with like Pavlos, X-Warrior, and Polaris in tier 2 for EMEA. Even if we got days just for like EMEA VCT, like the International League, I would still be really keen on doing Polaris to get like our practice in then, kind of like we are doing now. But the problem is I don't think I'm going to get hired to do EMEA with Pavlos, because they have Ash, who is good.
其实很容易被扫掉，很容易被盲打，比如说站在烟里面直接盲打打掉。
对，但现在小 K 还是在 C 区做单挂
，SK 丢暗兽走 ，A 点有反馈 ，A 区现在是一个黑梦加雷兹的双人手，两个人加起来是2把正义 ，SK 被淹了，脸上看不到，第一时间错失了机会，字母 AK 这边已经没有。
I don't know how he is at tier 1 to be honest. Yeah, I mean, if I could cast with like. If I could build a duo with anybody right now, I think Pavlos would be one of the main ones, because I think he is a really, really good play-by-play. Still feels like very green, but like he's got the right attitude. But yeah, like Shift. Like I casted Overwatch with Shift. And it was a lot of fun. I think we balanced each other out really nicely.
现在对于 BLG 来说，一切都朝着最好的方向在发展，经济的累积会变得非常高。如果这一分能活下去4、5个人的话，而且看上去5个人都能活。
天路感觉差不多要去喊个暂停调整一下，
对，
主要还是站位问题。
而且下一分是大分，这一分毕竟是存钱分嘛。
他们现在最有钱、最 rich 的是字母哥1800，1800你算算经济，就7把名区可能还是比较
而且这个时候名区我觉得也不是什么特别好的解决方案。
BLG have been clearing up, right? They lost the pistol and then they've just been farming everything since.
我觉得他们现在有点被转晕了，就是对方。
But I've just been ranting about broadcast stuff anyway.
都在 BLG 的手上。
对，
如果你没有名区，怎么解围呢？以这套镜像阵容，就雷兹黑梦的组合肯定是强在控图的。
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of statistical number stuff is because you do have a lot of people doing like more dream team stuff, fantasy football kind of vibes.
这个靠技能拖点的一个决策，进攻方的鬼眼进去没有在碎石或者 A 区拿到什么信息。
C 大给了个单向烟，这福勒星一个人打出了千军万马。
That's some good ultimates down on defense though for TYLOO.
A 区是一个不出事儿，所以他 C 区得打得贪一点。
那现在 BLG 就得猜，你 C 点到底几个人？对，真的还是假的？
要不要去硬吃
This is so brave though, like flexing even thinking about going for this. Like no support, no help. And he's staying. He's not gonna get out in time. That just feels like really undisciplined. Especially when you know that they have like the showstopper.
注意接应进去的位置，比尔已经提前一步进去，队友在穿板帮他扫清点里面可能藏的人。回防有玩焰火，这是进攻方主要忌惮的东西。而注意，进攻方有 70 的位置，他已经游到了。
Ice King's still here. Don't nightfall now. Nobody's with you. And immediately AAK goes down.
幻影的一个3杀，必须做一个潜伏。
Because they lose flexing, they lose smokes too, which just make it really hard to like.
They need a pause, bro.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell was that?
You see the stack over towards A from just original A pressure.
Yeah.
Holy.
But also like flexing playing mound on their own when there's a showstopper, and then using the nightfall when nobody's in position to retake.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Yeah, I would have liked this before the rounds, just with how impactful the round was, but...
I mean, Wise he's farming, which is nice. Job's been made easy.
桑夏教练又在疯狂输出啊！这个教练他是很有风格和特色，他喜欢玩耶路，然后喜欢玩喷子，就是判官。
Timing is, yeah, it just felt that nobody was ready.
在天幕的1口局，他会出现一些像雄鹿啊、判官啊这种短枪的存在。
好，我们来看一下这个战术暂停调整的力度在哪儿。
Also, thank you for everybody that's followed today as well.
显然，贝尔已经在图2给出了他的暂停的效果。
Hella getting a stern talking to from coach. Yeah, how animated do they look?
那接下来桑善也
Not really. Well, a little bit.
这个分差看上去还 OK， 但如果你连续的输，
I still think that even if we see TYLOO just bomb out of this map, it's been a really good series for them. Like promising, which is like the word that I've been looking for more than any.
3分能玩，这4分现在看来以这个经济不一定支撑得住啊。
存钱 这分是铁定没钱的。晚宴火上一次也没有交条件。
福乐星存3000，那意义
I
很
put
明
that
显。
there.
下一分有局了。
嗯。
当然，对于天路来说，就我们先看一下这一分能不能打。哎，他在纠结。
怎么说？
他在问队友要不要这把局，如果不要就起点东西。
那让我当英雄吧。
就算了，存1000块。
I think about everything's set up now.
不要局了。
C 区这一分可不是狐假虎威哦，这一分好像是真的有点压制力的。
但现在 BLG 也不。
On an eco again.
如果你敢来磕这个晚宴火，就会轰你脸上。
这一分其实对于 AK 来说要。
I have a feeling China are going to be absolute monsters when they get more reps in. Yeah. I mean, I actually think for the region, EDG being destroyed by Loud is a good thing for everybody, including EDG. Because I'd been saying this since like Evo Stage 3, that it feels that like EDG aren't the better team in China at the moment. They just win when it's like clutch games and other players that have the experience to be playing for like an international event. So either EDG need to realize that the way that they play isn't effective anymore, and that if you keep playing that way, you're going to keep losing, or they are just going to get thrown off the top spot. Knife. Nice. I mean, they're boomed, it looks like. It's a lower buy, but...
Dude, this was a weird round. Sending, like, the solo guy over towards A to sell the A. I kind of liked it. I would like it more against a buy. Like a buy
just a little bit risky against an eco, too.
Yeah, very much so.
They're winning the mental game. If they could just walk around the map and just take fights and still win them.
Dodge him with the door and knife him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big mental fight, yeah.
I feel like that's what Lotus is just coming down to more times than anything. Because it's such a, we know how to play this map. Everybody plays it a similar way. It's like the new Ascent, so if you just start losing, you just lose all hope.
Yeah, especially when you're on the defense side, it feels like impossible sometimes.
I mean, that's the only like saving grace for TYLOO, isn't it? That they can maybe attack and do some stuff there, but if it's like 10-2, 9-3...
Yeah. This is one of those classic calls where they're trying to demoralize them as well, right? They've been winning so much from going out over towards A, they decide to go fast B just to like really demoralize them because they imagine that the timeout was to probably go fast A or like fight over towards C heavier. Kind of just getting wrecked on that one. That's a big win for TYLOO though. And then now they go aggro A. Oh, this is big.
Yeah, it feels like even if TYLOO loses this series, I still think it's like a good sign. Promising stuff.
Especially their bind.
Shown some ill discipline, not waiting to play together, and some of their fundamental. Yeah, but that takes time. There's even some teams that have been together a hell of a lot longer that don't have that shit nailed down. I think one thing that I would say is, I mean, everybody here that's watching this knows, to an extent at least. But when you have people that sort of just come in and watch the qualifying games, like, please, this happened with Kickoff too. Don't judge the teams based on how they played just for those qualifying games. Like, if you're just, like, you don't watch any more China, you just tune in and rewatch the VODs from like playoffs for Shanghai. Like, just try to watch a little bit more of some of those teams. Because it felt bad for me to be like, Trace looked really fucking good. Like, really well disciplined. Vukash, who's been farming people for the IG, and then you go into those qualifying games and they just kind of both get destroyed. You prefer being on the desk or casting? I think I'm better on the desk. I'd like to be better at casting. So it's nice I'm getting some practice in. Like, I like doing the desk more, but I just think that nobody really gives a fuck about the desk. You could be amazing on the desk and still get passed up on work. But like casting, that's like harder to do. You can't just have a guest come in and cast better than people. But you can put a pro on the desk and they can just absolutely shine. No worries, Zeke. Like, I enjoy covering the region. I haven't really been watching that keenly today, but I think that's just because I've been, like, stressing.
艾伦还好接住了，但是没办法，自己是一个宝枪位。他有回复了，那下一分能解放队友了，就打法就多样起来了。但真的会。
Their segments at the CS Major were so good, to be fair. Yeah, they had a lot of freedom. Am I okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
是交不了的，然后 B 点的话又没必要。看一下天路要不要考虑在上半场交第2个暂停。就现在我 OK， 我知道上半场还是。
Yeah, I was definitely like excited for today, so it's just. Like nerves, making sure everything's like ready. I guess also like streaming with Sliggy is also kind of like different vibe. Yeah, I did watch the Pacific Coach videos. Yeah, I really like Pacific's doing a lot of cool content, but like it's the amount of times that I've seen like Achilles and Paperthin like in like the RRQ video that they did, in the like trailer with Paperthin being like the elevator guy, and then Chobra sort of leading the conversation of coaches. Like it's what you want from talent, to feel like you're actively involved in the scene.
还有1分钟啊！你看场面上打的水深火热，其实容错对于 BLG 来说很舒服的。
我还有晚焰火几场，但我觉得他希望这个晚焰火留给你的全面封锁，这是最理想的一个局面。艾伦并没有展开回复，还是选择直架。
非常规预备
来了，晚焰火
接一个，
没办法，
尽力了，
把晚焰火也消耗掉，看弗洛星有没有什么神奇发挥了。前场先漏，
绕后有自动哨兵，而且没有失效，
没有抓到。弗洛星现在两边都很危险，因为队友完全没到，弗洛星只能退回坡道，
锁定守方2人的站位了。
弗洛星加了一个56滴血，没办法再打了。
Lexing's won some crazy rounds from that position previously.
名牌，哎，创造1v1。
BLG have done.
他扛不了。
OK， 兄弟。
That was like a must-win round for them.
下的炮来放完了，
还好。
Yeah, I was gonna say like after like the brief timeouts again, like BLG were just farming.
等是等不赢的
，4分是有的玩的，而且他们这1分拿下之后，经济大缓一口气。
I guess also because I'm sat, like I probably should just stand for the next one.
稳住了，大心脏选手。那看一下上半场最后1分的定夺，天路也是为自己争取了一个多1大枪分。看到这分是最后比尔用剑影解决这把判官，这也是一个很有意思的解决判官的一个想法。
拼的只能说。
Oh, it says Masters Madrid on this one. That's weird.
进攻方的一个压制力看来 ，BLG 还是领先天路2分，还有分差。
BLG 叫了暂停，他把第1个战术弹叫出来了。
For some reason. Yeah, that's weird actually.
拿下。
What a team, sorry. TYLOO versus.
也是字母哥的粉丝啊。
Here comes the party. 但是字母哥他现在玩雷兹次数少很多了。
确实，更多的时候字母哥现在都是哨。现在这3张地图里面是2把哨位，1把先锋。
但是哨位很适合他，包括就是作为一个这种处理残局的选手，他还是能够给到一些。
Yeah, I'm still like messing with the short stream.
感觉桑善其实没有那么多东西要讲。
对，包括帅帅其实也在观望嘛。
对他其实不是很确定说，就因为刚刚我拿了分数，但
Figureman's VALORANT is here. He's ready.
天路嘛，我觉得也说不好。就刚刚那个残局其实是模棱两可的，就随时可能会完全倒向另外一边的一个残局。
那更多的悬念可能会落在场上的。
Ryan, who got that time out?
变数肯定还是在 BLG， 他们全力想拿这一分，因为保了2把枪。
Let me check.
所有的背身都在我的控制之下。
Where is it?
这一分字母哥
经济大阵，
It's a bold timeout to call at 4-7.
It's BLG.
That's really mad to get 1 extra round.
Yeah.
C 区
When like your macro's been working.
基本上你把你往 B 区和 A 点去骗了。
还是那句话嘛，回复之前陈凯也讲过，只有 C 区能放，单放的话。
One sec, TMB. What do you think of the song to the tune of Kokomo? I think I'm gonna need you to sing it later, is what I think. I imagine you're streaming or you'll be joining. I'm good. I'm good on the streaming stuff. Disembod H.
A 区有 70还是有一个背身的，正面兄弟拖就可以了。有 70的 A 区一定会是一个非常好的支援 AB Link。现在只要架住 BC Link 就可以的。艾伦突破了防守，艾伦带着队友冲了出来，鬼眼，但是第一包威胁很大，有人离魂，艾伦直接大步干汤。但是 AB Link 有3。
That's such a good Viper's Pit too with a plant. Nothing sees one, but the stick's just good enough. Yeah, I feel like that too.
That was savage, bro. They lost because of the plant.
Whereabouts did they plant?
Just in the bottom of the pit, right? Just the bottom of the dip. I guess the safe plant, but
I don't know if I did anything.
然后接下来进攻方其实控制了 BC Link， 然后以及 Beard 的离魂，但这个时候艾伦开始了。
他像是飘着开枪的，你知道吗？
但这也就是。
It's alright, I got it.
字母哥也是架住了离魂之后的 Beard 其实想要从 BC Link 换到从 AB Link 换到 BC Link， 给队友加一个多一个方向的枪线。
哦呦，这个暂停掉分之后啊，感觉贝尔教练和 Jackson 教练很不满意。确实很不满意。
这肯定是不满意的。锦囊开了，对面好像拿到了锦囊。 有点问题，但总的来说，2分的优势还是实打实的记在了 BLG 的账上。那现在就看两边在下半场怎么去打好自己的东西了，因为你能看得到两边都是有自己的一些内容在的。
记不记得之前就是莲花古城 BLG 对阵 T 的那场封神之战，他们是先选的防守端，然后再
Oh, you got like emote cams. That's kind of rude. Like she's doing the fade thing and you're covering the face.
比如说这个出 cos 的一个热门的人选，对，非常酷的一个角色。那这样的话，来到下半场，我们要来看一下2分够不够了啊？可以，这个是另外一个版本的黑梦啊。
对，我觉得这个画面就很符合对于 Aaron 这名选手的诠释。
哦，现在对于 Aaron 来说，确实
That's a 500 yard stare right there.
做了很多事情。其实，在我们这个揭幕日之前的新闻发布会上，或者说媒体日里面也是有说到，就是说艾伦这个选手他的赛历是很丰富的，对他算得上老将了。然后他其实可以用他的经验帮助这个队伍很多，比如说气氛的一些调节等等，这是很重要的。
他的爆发频率很高啊。
没错。
She's from the school of me of just staring blankly at the camera when it's on you.
好，我们来看一下两边现在进入
mentally boom them.
休息，这是他们为数不多的一个喘息的时间。
Okay.
下半场将会决定谁能够拿走开门红。 在赛前，我们肯定都认为 BLG 是一个巨大的优势，但是现在这个比赛还是尚未可知啊。
It's funny, my stream from the Grand Final Masters Madrid has been blocked. But I think that's because it has the Clove trailer in it. So I probably just need to what's the word? What is the word? Appeal it.
其实之前就是在打比赛之前，很多人都在猜测，就是说福乐星来到天路之后，就究竟是为什么
？On YouTube, yeah.
我个人的一个感受和推论还是就是他们可能是训练赛打出了一些比较好的成效，然后就各自都觉得很舒服，然后就换了。
对，就我们在赛前评论区讲这个嘛，一般来说这个人员大家换人都是。
Is it tech pause now too? Interesting. I was going to say this half time has been long.
但实际上。 队伍考虑的并不简简单单的是数值的组合。
It's something that we've actually like never really had much on the channel. Or at least I haven't. Like my history of doing YouTube, like worrying about copyright strikes and stuff. But it happens seemingly every stream. Especially for Madrid because of all of the music on it.
那看一下这个技术暂停之后啊，我们看一下这个是选手原因，也是帮我们标注出来。我们可能要稍。
TYLOO's timeout. It's a TYLOO tech pause.
马上就会开始。我觉得对于 BLG 来说，现在也是就翻盘的过程当中也遇到了抵抗， 这也是你在我觉得作为 BLG 这种老队伍一定要去经受的一关，就是 OK， 我第2张地图找回手感了，但是对面不会束手就擒。天路并不会说。
Which channel? Nomadic Gaming. This was the hitscan channel.
我觉得今天其实对于天路的
If it's the channel I think you're on, I'm streaming to 2 at the moment, so it's kind of hard to gauge.
要完美，对。但是你可以在3张地图打出一个，就己方我们这段时间究竟练了什么？是我们5个组在一起究竟有大概多高
Even the break music, yeah, that happens like all of the time.
一些观望的时间，你给我一些时间，我还你一个所谓天路
Like way, pretty much every time. And it's really hard to like avoid, so you just kind of have to like do it. And the act of like appealing each and every song, just so you can only really do it one at a time, so it's like not even really worth doing. How's the game been? I think it's been a pretty good series. I think that it's been promising for TYLOO. Billy got punished hard on Bind, but they've been kind of like in charge and leading the line ever since. What are your thoughts on Guan being on a new role now? I mean, he did play like more supportive stuff in the past. He wasn't just on Duelist. I mean, we can check, but I'm fairly certain that like, he played a lot of Silver, played Killjoy, so it's not too much of a shock. I thought that was the sound to go in. So yeah, like, is used to playing on Sentinel, so it's not like massively surprising. Might have been subbed ages ago when it was Overwatch Central. Yeah, right. Like, I'll probably rename the main channel back to like Hitscan and naturally start to do less esports stuff on it. Just keep it around for like news or any other like content of games to come out. But yeah, I think I'd prefer to just have it on another channel. Gonna miss his crazy neon plays. Maybe there's some double duelist in there, you never know.
劣势2分，但在上半场最后2分的拿回，也是帮他们把这个分差缩窄了非常多，从3-9缩到了5-7。
Yeah, games have been. It's been a good first series today. Like the last time that we had a full, the first day of kickoff was just two very quick 2-0s. Oh, the fact that he gets near sighted, but the horn comes in and hits 2. That's one thing about Fade that might become more popular, is just there's so many places that you can Fade Horn on a map. Having somebody there to like actively clear any of them up is tricky. I think it's easier to spot and clear a recon as it comes in, despite the target being a lot smaller.
就是暗眼有一个问题，它是近视，它不是完全的致盲。虽然说 A 大有混颜，但是现在对于 BLG 来说，其实完全可以。
I mean, I feel like that'd be a really good comp in itself, like Gecko, Fade, Reyna. Just so much shit that you need to shoot to break. It probably makes it so much better than Silver. On this map, absolutely. I think most maps, I'd say like an Aldron is like consistently stronger just because of the range of the Prowlers. Like here with the amount of 50-50 angles on this map, like Prowler's great.
你等对面4个人回防是必来不及的。
BLG 4个人已经排坐火车回防了呀。
兄弟们，一人看90度啊，谁出了问题就找谁。
OK， 还有个暗兽呢，这分。
Yeah, all of the cross map stuff you can do with Silver on Ascent makes him really good there. But I'm surprised, like seeing more like Fade on Split. I could see.
有鬼眼，有鬼眼，有炮台，帮他缓冲第一波。
哎，有人在反绕，这反绕字母哥可能会来的比较快，
很难拖啊 ，Ice King 拖不了这么多时间的。
兄弟，再推一会儿。
Oh my god, he's just absolutely hounded here.
字母哥能看到包吗？啊，急了。
Very weird pistol. Feels like it went on forever. But it's actually nice to see like the pace of the game slow down. There's just something that we just didn't see from China at all, like in kickoff even. But I actually mid-round in, getting that initial fight and then being able to cut noise and try and manipulate the map a bit more is really nice.
虽然我们看到，其实弗洛星的暗眼效果很好，好像演了3个人他说的话，但是就我有另外一双发亮的眼睛，不好意思。
黑梦的在这张地图确实有很多的技巧性投掷啊。就和
I think teams could definitely do with playing Sova Gecko more together on Icebox. I think that could be a really good comp.
东方来说非常的致命，5个人都是无甲的一个状态。
现在天路就只能可怜巴巴的去。
And then no duelist Sage, perhaps.
王浩哲这一分的选位是选到了 C 区，前面有保镖在帮自己探路。
这蟒侠其实给到第3分的压力也是蛮大的。这一分打无甲的话，飞将会强一些。
天路的目的还是拿点数，然后安包。对于他们来说，这一分想赢的难度是非常大的，要指望对面翻盘错。说实话，
对他骑蟒侠，然后补4把害的原因是担心天路做强骑。
对，
上一分有安包嘛。
You're going into the stack and also all of the killjoy util.
很难了，纳米蜂群。
Brave for K-Knight to be closing that distance in. It turns more into like awkward 50-50 fights with these smokes too. That could have gone a lot worse for BLG than it did. Especially with like the smoke that was put here. Because you had the Omen playing on site and he was like switching between looking this way or that way.
BLG 来说，现在扎实拿每一分更加重要，这个比保存经济要重要的多。
Because I think it was an attack smoke, but it ended up kind of shafting TYLOO more than it helped them.
对，他们上一分其实也是就存了足够多的钱。
对，而且这张地图它的翻分概率是非常的高的，就点内的短距离交火，防守方是能。
Yeah, bigger maps you need the Sova recon for, just because the range.
到一些拐角，而且上来别直接前压正义想要发挥，建议回去没问题，全身而退。
C 区2人做前压，枪械劣势再来一回。
哎，但是 C 区的前压是触发了自动哨兵，看一下字母哥的断后，选择顶还是退？140。OK， 6。
好在是全甲。
队友得过来接一下，因为他知道 C 点其实有2个人。
They lost a player already with YZ over towards Mound.
看他怎么想吧，其实可减可不减。因为等会儿打回防。I'm
surprised that Yosemite didn't pick up the orb when he was going past. It might as well, right? Viper's Pit, useful. Stops TYLOO getting a potential ult online for the round after this. Because you're expected to lose, almost. Because you're on a bonus. So just... Mob making sure that they don't get the orb, and you take it for yourself, but because you're Viper, you also gain a lot from getting the orb yourself too.
Oh,
they just peek out. KO1, I'm not really that keen on KO.
3打2，3打2，还要安保，进攻方的压力是很大的，他希望主人主动来找，
扫死了字母哥，
提前枪。 实力界的伏笔完全收了回来，13秒，艾伦要怎么处理这个残局？他不知道坡道，背身。
Really good
that was
bonus.
mental.
Yeah, just feels like BLG back to their old habits again, which is nice.
That was so funny, dude. The outlaw double body tag to just make Timmy the MVP.
但核心的问题还是在汤 A 的时候，我们看到出现了一些比较粗糙的情况，对于技能的清理没有很在意。天路吃了太多技能的伤害，不管是纳米蜂群、自动哨兵，还是超级炮台。
这一分能够看出来，就BLG这边赢下来是得到一份大惊喜的。
对这分
，that's the only map you can get behind KO because you can suppress utility on A. I think the problem with it is just that it's like in an ideal world. I'm gonna go for a win, and I'll talk about it a bit more afterwards. Yeah,
最后一个跟队员们沟通的机会了，
没办法得托孤了。现在就这一分，可能甚至要尝试 all in。我不确定这分会不会选择强骑，因为下半场已经是连败拉起来了。
他上一分起了5个重甲，
对，
如果 all in 什么枪呢？
就可能会是非常烂的枪械，而且上一分也没有按到爆。那如果是存钱，就意味着你的部署还是在下分，你要放到5比11。
就是我觉得他首先起5个重甲就不太可能，
对。
然后起轻甲的话，那么蟒侠一定治你。
现在对于天路来说，就是怎么着都难受。
这不是把 B， 反正必须这能换则换，不要给对方刷起太多的手感。
现在对于天路来说，确实走到了一个拼地图储备、拼选手心态跟耐久的这种 能力的时候了。哦，但显然 BLG 这种打满打好的场面见了多了去了。
哦呦，这一分4个轻甲，莽侠可比明居厉害啊！
有投入，但天龙还是留了下一分的经济的。
给烟推，
哎，这手机炮来的 timing 啊！弗洛星正义一发，王浩哲第2发没有打出去，因为他也被打残了，他应该是被弗洛星敲了一发什么穿满头之类的，
然后被赵月回来补掉了。
那这样的话，这一分就有翻的说法了。幻影现在 AK 的手上 ，AK 能不能利用这把幻影做事近距离？小编的一发头直接带掉，但字母哥放下最前面有侧身
They blocked down him before they plant.
侧身被 BLG 收爽了。当然，字母哥的全面封锁能够生效，他可以捡到枪，但是他
And timing just feels so off for TYLOO.
他想把人先找到，但是自己换。
Sorry, what did you say?
I said timing feels so off for them.
Ah, man, this was a devastating round. Maybe.
Take you for my again. There's no way that Bear peeks out alone. Oh my god. Okay, that was dreadful for me. BLG. Oh my god. Like one at a time, really?
I mean, the shots were nice. That's what I would highlight here.
I mean, both of them went before the third was even ready.
Oh man, yeah.
天路一下经济就起来了一点，而 BLG 现在要当心，因为自己的我们看看 BLG 的经济
存款不多了，
这分很大，而现在对于 BLG 这分更大，因为这分输
Yeah, first fight was really nice. Like, and also just to sort of respect that Dioman was gonna peek and push this, but like, Bianc being stuck here, and then who was it? Like K-Knight? Giving him honest fights. That's one thing you can't do for Chinese teams, is give them honest fights. Because they'll win them. You also need to get your Astable in the casting booths, Ryan. It'd be nice, deal. I've been enjoying watching you guys, though. Because I wasn't, like, to be honest with, like, Heretics, I was like, I wasn't really sure, like, yeah, it did well for kickoff, but, like, is it going to be, like, a flash in the pan? But, like, the win against Fnatic was, like, can't argue with it. Yeah, I'm glad it's going well, Neil. Proud of you all. Especially after the last fucking year that you guys have had. These kids are too switched on, yeah. It's really nice to see, like, Boo flourishes in IGL as well. Like, I'm having his confidence knocked and all that shit. So now not only calling good rounds, but just casually getting aces against Fnatic. Alright, at least there's an instant bounce back for BLG after losing that round. Just look at Genji. I don't think that's fair. I don't think a coach can just have that much, like, impact on the team suddenly looking good and not. I just think the dynamic for Fnatic is, like, it's going to be a weird one when you have, like, Mini come back as an assistant coach. But I don't think that's really at play. I think it's like Alma coming in just as, like, everybody else, like, to an extent, whether they should do or not. The rest of Fnatic take their foot off the gas just a little bit.
I feel like I would force into this round. I'm, like, really confident I'd force into this.
Just play for the win?
Yeah, I think so. They were going to use ults anyway. Fade ult. Could have got some stingers, light armor.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the things I understand the least, I suppose, of, like, when to go for the not optimal strat, I suppose it would be.
Yeah. Depends like what you got always. Also depends like how your half's been looking in prac in my mind. Like sometimes you know you need like a miracle if it hasn't been doing good.
Yeah. Or there's certain players having a sheriff and giving a gun over to somebody else is gonna work out better.
Yeah. Plus I think stingers and stuff are just unreal with a fatal.
That's true. I think that's probably like the downside of like China at the moment, especially after like Madrid. I think that everybody's gonna try and play like total Valorant, right? They're gonna try and play it to the book because that's the way that everybody else plays it, and that's how EDG get punished against like Loud and stuff. But sometimes they just need to rely on the fact that they're just all aim no-brainers. Sometimes it just
yeah, you got to embrace it sometimes. Plus I think like this is like some of the criticism I had with Liquid in kickoff. It's just like if you play too fundamentally well, like we lose here, we have to take here, it's too obvious. Like sometimes you gotta throw some random stuff in there, or like educated guesses or gambles.
I feel like that's always been like an ML philosophy as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's what makes Zekken such a good duelist, is that he knows when he needs to roughly be aggressive, when he needs to be passive, but he also knows when he needs to like change it up.
Yeah.
The self-awareness is crazy.
Damn, it's a nice comeback considering the fast map.
Not quite a 1 versus 4. Maybe a little bit rusty as well, especially when you have like new coaches.
Yeah, I also think like it did just look like a big diff of TYLOO's best map and BLG's like worst map.
Yeah.
And so maybe it looked worse than it actually was.
I'm happy for TYLOO at least, like not looking like utter atrocious worst team in international leagues.
但我觉得今天他们其实交出的这个答卷，虽然最后的结果可能他们自己不是特别的满意，没有能够在图2把握住开局的比分优势。
What did I think of Navi Vitality? That's a game that I missed. Like, I need to catch the board on that one. But I guess I was surprised to see Vitality lose as hard as they did. But I guess that's a promising sign for Navi more than anything. At least they get a map. Yeah, against a good Billy that I think if they sort out their like fundamentals, like Billy could be like a Shanghai team. Or like in the run up to it.
他的加入给 BLG 在打进攻的情况下，进攻的节奏性有了一个巨大的提升。没错，而且来到图3之后，图3是怎么获胜的？就用一些小技能在关键的时机点来打团队的配合。
就如果说图2 BLG 看上去追的还有点辛苦的话，图3就 BLG 完全把握了节奏。就7比5优势不够大 ，OK 啊，下半场我们慢慢来。
Wait, who said that they finished his degree alongside coaching a collegiate team? Oh, MCE.
但我觉得。 天路今天他们也不算一个失败者，因为他给粉丝们看到了希望。
They just got angeled.
班底和队伍有他们的潜力和冲击。
I like the idea of deadlock.
没错，
我们必须要承认这一点。虽然没有拿到胜利，但
Like on bind. Like I didn't see any of it, so I realistically don't know how well it did. But I think that Vitality being that kind of team to experiment, I think bodes well for them. Because they could easily just play what everybody else is playing and just diff them with the players that they have. But I think that Vitality have got some good minds on the team to think outside the box.
它是一个在逆境当中队员们的韧性吧，就他们可能在细节的配合之上、小技能的配合之上，还是需要花更多的时间去磨练的。
Off there, I think, yeah, and also just taking an idea and using it in an official can often do that. Seen a lot of that recently. People being like, why are they using this comp? It looked awful. It's like, well, because it probably looked a lot better in scrims. This is as much of a shock to them as it is for you, trust me. The problem for Fnatic mainly in the coach? No, I mean, I don't think that's like fair, because ultimately we don't know what the coaches bring, like what Elma does differently to Mini in regards to coaching. Again, these kind of discussions would like absolutely farm in like content for Fnatic. When these kind of questions come up, you should be answering them in the same way that Sentinels talk about why they put 10s on Omen. And eventually we saw that with Bleed talking about the roster moves they made and like what happened to Ye. Even Global did it with their single controller comp with Bind, like the Viper only, because they were like it was doing really well in scrims, and we knew how we wanted to play that comp and how it has to be played, but we just couldn't get it going. It's fair to at least consider it part of the problem with the new iteration. Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on what they're looking to do. But I don't think you can play in a way of like, okay, we were the best, how do we keep being the best? I think you have to approach it of like, what are we keen to do? How do we want to improve the way that we play? The coach is putting their fists up as they get a knife kill too. For example, like, does Elma Putty come in and go, I think, like, all the comps that we play, I'm fine with. Like, you're all fine on the roles that you have. I want to just make sure that we build as much of a playbook as we can. Make sure that we have good, like, protocols and reactions based on what the enemy team does, and that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. Or you kind of go, the meta's changed a lot. Let's go super off script. Let's do some really kooky stuff. Let's cook up some really good strategies and ideas similar to what Fnatic had done in the past. It's like, I don't know what Elma Putty wants to do with the team, ideally. Because I think the way that Mini coaches, Mini's like giving a lot of the onus onto Boaster. Like, Mini is almost, in the same way that Doombros does for Angel, it's almost like Mini wasn't the head coach of Fnatic when he was on that team. It is kind of like more that it was the way that Boaster wanted to play, but Mini would always approach it as a, if we do it this way, then we need to make sure it's done. If we do your idea, it has to be done my way. That's kind of the impression I get from like Mini's coaching. Of, okay, if you want to do this, I'm going to make sure that we do it properly. And that's kind of how it feels for like Doombros and Angel as well. Like Angel's really the one in charge, and everybody else is there to like supplement and help Angel and argue with Angel when they feel like the way that he's approaching stuff is wrong. So, like Ardis, for example. But yeah, like I don't know what like Elma Putty's philosophy on coaching is. Sounds like a very like political answer, but like I think it's genuinely important. The more that I've sort of seen like how coaches work, how important it is to just have like a system and a way that you want to approach the game, and that you fundamentally believe in it, because you need to be able to stick to those kind of like rules that you build for yourself when it all goes to shit. I'm playing all sides here today. I mean, you have to think of it all sides because we just don't know enough. Buster complained after champions that they didn't have enough time to prepare new tactics for him. Yeah, but Buster's also said that he doesn't want to babysit like his team. Like he said that in the vlog after they lost, like he didn't want to be holding people's hands and helping them improve. But like, part of me is like, sorry, you're the IGL, and like, I think it's your job as the IGL to get the most out of your teammates. Like, I get, like, you don't want to spend all of your time doing that, and you want to be able to, like, focus on your own mechanics and your own skill and stuff, but at the end of the day, like, you're not there to do that. You're there to be a captain. If you can aim and win those fights, sure, but the thing that separates him as one of the best IGLs in the world is his IGLing. You don't want him to do that less in order for him to do other stuff that he never needed to really do beforehand. Yeah, I think Fnatic is going to be fine. And I also think that, like, we know and we've heard what Fnatic have said, both in excuses for this week, but also like after losing against Kamen Core in kickoff. Like they know what's up, and you can't fix that in 2 weeks. And we've heard them say that they're gonna like ramp up their like practice and try to have more of a work-life balance at the start of the year. So them losing series like this against a really hungry Team Heretics that are so keen to keep proving themselves. Like, what did people expect to happen? But I think that Fnatic having this almost like blasé attitude has, I think personally, fucked the rest of EMEA. I think the whole region looks worse because like teams like Fnatic are sort of on the back burner a bit. What team is most likely to defeat EDG and win the China Championship? Ooh, good question. I'm gonna say Trace, depending on how Low King looks. Also, when it comes to like Buster like improving their aim, is that because you want to do it, or is that because you feel like you need to do it? Right. Like, have you got so much shit from the community that you feel that that's something that you need to focus on? I think every pro should be doing aim training and stuff like that, but it's tough when you've been doing it a long while to like keep that novelty. Yeah, I think EDG could lose to a lot of teams. It's just mental. It's just like how they do in finals. Like FBX probably should have beaten them in the grand finals of kickoff, but they bottled it. Most teams fucking do against EDG. It's super frustrating to watch. Like just constantly just them faltering. Let me change the titles of the stream whilst I remember to. Right, they're all updated.
就是或多或少的那种沉迷期吧，但是后来我们教练就跟我们说，我们打比赛可以，但是永远不要再打一场让自己后悔的比赛。
是的，而且遗憾失败，你们一定会从中进行成长的。
那
最后一个问题是由欧门暗影精灵带来的粉丝提问，因为我们最近也是上了一个新英雄嘛，想问一下你对于新英雄是什么样的看法？